Yes, Fair Lease. Fairlease.org, Blake. They'll give you white glove service when it's time to upgrade your vehicle situation, and that means...
I now know what it means because I've begun my Fair Lease process.
Whoa!
Started that email chain over the weekend. They gave me a call. They gave me some heads up about what to look for and what to not look for.
After starting this process, it's onerous, it's taxing. You look a little beaten today, right? Is that why?
No, actually, it's because we stayed up all night playing games because you get to know the guy that you're working with.
Wow.
We became NCAA partners.
Wow.
He's a fantastic guy. Matthew, really taking care of me over there.
Wow. Friends and fair leases with fairlease.org. Drive now, pay later. 0 money down, no payments for 60 days. Do like we're all trying to do this year. Be more like Blake with Fair Lease.
The Dumb Zone.
Hey, Larry.
Randy.
You got it.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of Susie's.
I know, yeah.
Happy New Year.
It's a little late, frankly, for the Happy New Year's, you know?
Why? Just happened a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, that's too long. Statute of limitations is kind of run out on the New Year's. 3 days. Plenty.
3 days.
By the way, everything doesn't have to be happy. Why does everything have to be happy?
I'm having a pretty good day.
All right.
Is it too soon to play that?
All right.
He references it was 2 weeks ago or something.
No, I think if you're doing Happy New Year today, you deserve scorn, even if you're 5.
Don't you think the Happy New Year crowd is doing Happy Jan 6 today anyway?
I feel like that's a specious connection that you've tried to make there, but I don't hate it.
It is January 6th. Cowboys season is over.
Good friend of mine, the recent kid birthday party I went to, that kid was born that day.
On Jan 6th.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so he's like, my buddy was like, yeah, we're in the hospital, and wife's panicking about, normal stuff, childbirth, and he's doing honey, you may want to see this.
This guy's got a Viking helmet on.
Like, did you save the newspaper from when your daughter was born?
Did he say newspaper?
He said something weird.
The newspaper.
I actually can tell you exactly what happened that day, newsworthy-wise, and what I was watching on the television. Despite all the haters and doubters who said it could never happen, Cliff Kingsbury was getting an NFL head coaching job the day my daughter was born.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still on Jan 6.
No, mine was Jan 9. So Dan asked about the newspaper. I don't remember what was happening, like if Congress was about to shut down or something, but I know...
It's more, though, for the kid to look at many years, but I suppose she can just go search. I guess that used to be a thing when I was a baby.
Yeah, I don't think she'll have to search. I think she'll just think.
Like it'll just appear in front of her?
Yeah.
I've got that poster somewhere at my house of what was going on the day I was born. Price of gas, price of milk, price of bread, number one song, number one movie.
And what day was that?
May 15th, 1991. Why are you writing that down?
It's not on the calendar.
Good.
I'm kind of surprised you shared it just now.
You didn't put your birthday on the calendar?
No.
What do you think? Who are you talking to?
So Dan,
I noticed he put stuff like Dan falls in love with Indian woman at gas station, and so my wife and kids are looking at the count like, well, what's this?
This is why it's an issue.
No, and then but you're
first day Dan had female listener over to the den.
Big part of the show. Oh my God.
Quote unquote architect comes over.
Look, we may do something in the future. We need to have her.
Yeah. I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
Along with video man Rob Chickering, also known as the skydiving chief at one point, but I don't think he does that anymore. He neither skydives nor chiefs. We are broadcasting.
Back in my day, chief was the parlance of our times.
We are broadcasting from high atop my garage here on a Cowboy Monday. We had originally planned to do the game yesterday, like a Cowboy watching party, and I think very wisely begged off of that.
What?
Congrats to me.
Yeah.
A walk-off win?
Thank you for saving
We
us
got to
from
watch
that.
Trey Lance. I was regretting that decision all day yesterday.
Now, when the ball hit the cheerleader in the head,
I actually got almost all the way over here just thinking, boy, maybe he'll let me in there and I'll just do it. I care, you know?
So you watched it live?
Well, that's
Almost.
interesting because so instead of doing that, like yesterday was my daughter's last day in town. My daughter, who goes to Clemson, is left to drive back this morning. And she gave me a Blake story on the way out. But
Oh, God.
before that,
You know what? They're obsessed with me. I'll say it. They need to chill. Leave me alone.
This will go over well.
okay, so the Blake story is that just this morning we were downstairs and she comes over to me. She goes,
The turnaround.
Blake just came in. I go, yeah. She goes, so she was packing up and everything. She's getting ready to leave, drive to Clemson. And she goes, I opened the garage door and Blake's standing there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just standing
being
there.
weird, dude.
Because the code didn't work.
And I said, oh, hey, she says. And she goes, Blake says the code doesn't work. And then so she's like, what about a hi, good morning? What
Yeah.
about how's it going?
But the thing is, they didn't
What a-
program the NPC.
I was just about to
speak
say, so
beyond
which
just,
is it? Do
the
I
code doesn't work. That's
so
all.
you just
I have-
that's just immediately though she says hi and
do I
you
not
say
have
code doesn't
dynamic
work.
dialogue?
No.
Yeah, because I was explaining why I was just standing there. Because she opened the garage and there's me
You just appear.
just with my phone in my hand and I could see. Whoa. I was okay. I'm explaining myself. I'm not creepy at all. Just code doesn't work.
So my last went out to breakfast with my two daughters yesterday when they rolled out of bed.
Where'd you go?
At
We went to IHOP in Euless. The IHOP in Grapevine.
Is that
It's
nostalgic
closed
for
down.
you? It is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to go to IHOP because Mom doesn't go out with us a lot. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Anyway, it's just me and the daughters, and so we would always go to IHOP. And yeah, so we had a nostalgic visit to IHOP.
what time?
Probably 11:30 yesterday morning.
Not horrible for a
No.
weekend.
No.
And as we were ordering, I get a phone call. I'm like, oh, this guy never really calls me. And then, went to voicemail, so I go, I better go call him back. Like, he's good friend. He doesn't really call me a lot, just out of the blue. So I figure, he needs something's going on right now. I'd like to give him a quick hello. So I walked out into the lobby to call TC back.
Mm-hmm.
So I called TC yesterday morning,
Oh, no.
and he goes, hey, the garage now is not open.
Oh, no.
I don't see Blake's car here either. Is there
Oh, darn it.
That's on me.
And I go, what are you saying? He goes, yeah, Jake asked me to be part of the football stream today.
I'll pay you for your gas, bud. I
And I go,
promise.
oh. And then he goes, that's what I thought. Like, once he didn't see a bunch. Rob's cars, we have a
Yeah.
few cars. He shows up. The talent usually kind of shows up a little later.
Is it worth me making the case that since the two of you decided to cancel it, that you should have contacted everyone, or is that just a losing
this.
proposition for me?
Was I even aware that TC was locked in as the
I didn't.
co-host?
I believe that was conveyed, but I also
I told
don't
my
know
guy
that
that we moved
it
it.
helps me that much.
Yeah, I told, Jameson and Caitlin. And I don't know. I did inform, 5 other people, but I just, and when we do these streams, I will send out an information piece the day before or certainly the morning of. But so I could victim blame and say TC didn't get the traditional text from me, which says who's bringing food and all that kind of stuff. So if you want a table talk, what are we going to do for this coming weekend? Because it seems we have 2 very good games that are laid out for Sunday. We could also just say, not going to do anything this weekend. We'll do it next weekend. But this weekend, I'm scouting it. It looks like Sunday afternoon, we have an Eagles game. At 425. Who did the Eagles have?
Packers.
Packers, Eagles. Two rivals. Two really good teams. But then the evening game. Sunday evening. We have Washington, Pat. At Baker. We have Cliff Kingsbury. We have Dan Quinn. We have Baker Mayfield. That feels like the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Like,
a no-brainer.
It's a Sunday night.
It's a no-brainer. Hey, here's a couple of teams.
I know, but then we're not going to be able to hear Collinsworth. We're just going to have to imitate Collinsworth all game, which I'm cool with.
I quite enjoy doing that.
Are we in?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sunday night?
And if I invite TC and we move it, I will tell him.
Okay.
That's my ironclad promise to you this time around.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Packers, Eagles, I mean, I enjoy it from a football standpoint, but it's not that. I don't have a whole lot of hatred for the Packers.
No.
It's just kind of.
They're fun.
Yeah, whatever. And Blake knows I want to live in Philadelphia.
And I got, but we have three teams that we do have an interest in. I think the Eagles are interesting. I think, of course, Detroit is interesting. That's Monday night. No. Detroit's got a bye. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously Baker. So let's just ride Baker. Let's ride Baker till he's done, bro.
Yeah,
all the way to the big game in.
I mean, I want to be clear.
I don't know where the big game is.
New Orleans. That's why the things were down, because they were like repairing or testing some new way of or improving the don't run people over system, and they're like, oh, he found a gap. Mm-hmm. I enjoy watching Baker, and I enjoy that you have love for him. Also appreciate that you have a relationship with Dan Campbell. By proxy, I sort of have one, but I have an actual friend who's still in the playoffs who is not playing this weekend because his team wrapped up the 1 seed in the AFC. So for me, I'm riding with my friend Patrick. But we're not just going to do every Chiefs game because those are usually boring.
All right.
But I'm very much in on
let's
Commanders
do
Buccaneers. That'll be a great game.
this weekend, and then we'll do when Baker plays Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Dude. You know
what a Super Bowl that would be.
Well, because you know what we'll get to do? We'll get to rewatch that game in Lubbock again, which I've seen probably 5 times now. Maybe my favorite college football game of all time.
Did Baker transfer because Mahomes was coming in?
No, but he'd certainly like to have you think that.
Oh. But I mean, it was
Mahomes
around the same
was
time
coming
period.
in, but he was like a 2 or 3 star period. Baker transferred because they told him you have to earn a scholarship. We can't guarantee you the starting spot next year. You were hurt half this year. I know it's awesome that you beat Abilene Christian.
Well, that's good talent evaluating by Cliff then.
What?
To see that this Heisman Trophy winner has to, I need him to gut it out a little bit.
Could also say he was like, boy, I feel like this 2-star, 3-star I just recruited from East Texas is going to be the best quarterback of all time. But nobody else knew that.
I bet he'll lead us to a 500 record every year.
Yeah, if only Baker had stuck around. Baker needed to be in an offense that won every game to be considered a number 1 pick. Mahomes didn't. But in any case, that game is amazing. It was like 82-73. They were just trading touchdowns. The crowd's
The
yelling.
final was 82-73.
I think so. The crowd was just – this was Baker's return to Lubbock. And so the crowd is just chanting loud as you can hear on TV, F you, Baker. It was awesome. They were both playing at a very high level. It was fun. That would be the dream Super Bowl.
66-59.
Okay.
OU.
I was off.
Baker,
there was another one, I believe, where they both scored a lot of points, but I don't know if they were both.
Baker, 9 incompletions, 545 yards, 7 touchdowns. Mahomes threw the ball 88 times.
This is in regulation?
Yeah.
In regulation.
Maybe that's where I was getting the 80.
734 yards.
Yeah. It was a blast. It was a night game. Everybody was hammered. It was so much
and
fun.
Mahomes,
man.
12 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the leading rusher for the Red Raiders.
It'd be a lot of fun. But I'm super in on this Sunday night. That sounds great.
Okay. Let it be done. As long as we can find a video man, Rob's not going to be in town. So, okay, probably.
We got some irons in the fire.
Well, we'll probably be there. Just tune in Sunday and see if we're here.
Or just show up like DC.
Just show up Sunday like TC. You never know when we might be doing a thingy.
Damn, that second half, it started with a Tech punt and then touchdown, 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 They scored every single drive in the second half.
I'm telling you, man.
Scored touchdowns.
Go back and watch it, and you're not going to
Jeez.
have a bad time. Baker's eating it up.
That's awesome.
So let's do a weekend check. It's brought to you by Community Mechanical. They're my, and they should be your, HVAC company. No one really knows what those letters stand for, but it's like your heating and air conditioning and stuff, probably. Right now, they're offering full preventative maintenance. Free preventative maintenance. Give them a call. If you need parts and repairs, you'll get 10% discount on all parts and repairs.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I'm nice, warm, and comfortable right now.
Well,
here.
it's a good thing they came out because I think he said this last week while you weren't here. He was trying to kill us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was on a text thread with Travis. He says, hey, man, no need to call. Or I said, you don't have to call back because I called him about something. I said, I want to clarify what you guys found in my attic. Because he found something in my attic that was off. And he's like, boy, this is great that we were here. He said it was your exhaust duct from your furnace. Basically dumping carbon monoxide into your attic.
Good.
Which can obviously be deadly.
Good.
We want people to know that maintenance is good, but we are also full service. So you need to repair or replace your unit. We would love to handle that, especially since in a week or two it's going to be in the low 20s.
And a weatherman.
Dude, the guy predicted the weather, too?
What can't he do?
Hey.
He says maintenance is good. We believe it's important, which is why we offer it. But, they've got the heating, they got the air conditioning, so whether it's changing out an old system, the ductwork, or making sure all the rooms are cooling and heating properly, check out Community Mechanical, communitydfw.com, or 469-667-7290.
Just give me a shot at what you think the V is.
So heating. No, HV. So the word vac comes to mind somehow, but vac.
I think that's just because you added the A and the C and completed the
vaccination. Vagina.
Yeah, heating, vagina,
says
air
Rob.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I know that they know. Ventilation. And that's important.
Ventilation. Oh.
Correct. CommunityDFW.com.
Okay. They don't heat vaginas.
So my weekend check, I'm squarely in the sleeping on the kids' floor era now.
It's tough. You don't mandate a wake up? Like I'll tell my wife, hey, you got to come back and get me in 20 minutes. I'll be asleep. She'll be asleep. You got to come get me.
No, if I'm out, I'm good.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's early enough, you can go back to sleep. Because
Oh,
what you
yeah,
don't
for
want is
sure.
to wake up 3 hours in, middle of the night. You're like, oh, God.
No, I mean that's when you just roll over and keep sleeping.
On the floor?
I was gonna
On a
say
little pallet?
I don't mind the floor. Just make a little pallet. Let's get this room is carpeted. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not having a horrible time down there. In fact, maybe I prefer sleeping on my kid's floor than my own bed.
I don't think that's because of the bed.
But that keeps him from coming in our room. Put down is just, it's a fight. And this is just an easy way to just, you know what, tonight we're not going to fight. I'll lay here. I'll read. You do your thing over there with your flashlight. We can coexist here. But then, I don't know, just a dad weekend. Wife and I-
Dadded it.
Yeah. Went to the park, rode bikes, and killed a lot of time at Chick-fil-A. Because
Yeah,
of
it's
the
a
play
player.
place.
Yeah.
But then a squared away Sunday, and here we are.
We've talked about this before, and I know that there are little things that I just don't know about, but I don't know how parents in the cold states do it. Because I felt like I was in a freaking prison yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I got all this time.
I'm looking ahead to the next couple weeks. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
and I'm like, dude, it's sunny outside, so he's looking at it, and he's like, bike, 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 helmet, bike. And I'm like, bro, no, but I'm telling you, you're going to get even sicker. It's cold. And it's not like it's
Yeah, it looked
horrible.
beautiful yesterday.
It was 27, but
He
it
kept
was
tricking me 4 times I walked outside thinking,
Same.
now it's great.
Same. I kept saying to my wife, I'm like, I'll take him on a walk. I'll do something because he's losing his mind. She's like, we can't. We literally can't. I don't know how people do it. There's probably more indoor play options.
I found
in,
a
like,
new
Chicago.
place to walk.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Let's
That's
hear about
super
it.
exciting.
For walking, you could. Olds will go to the mall to do some mall walking, but I don't want to go to the mall. So I went
pretty
to
nice now.
I went to Lowe's
Oh, my God.
because I needed some weed killer, and so I walked every aisle up and down the aisle, and just killed like a half hour in Lowe's because I needed to get some steps in, but it was too cold.
Whatever gets
Just
it
walk
done,
around
I guess, man.
walk around the house, around and around. But yeah, no, I was out anyway. Oddly enough, at the gym, and then on my way home, I was
That's
like,
a curious decision.
Yeah.
Where they have a machine that you can just walk on as if you're moving.
I like to move, though, and do something. I don't like to just walk in one place.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not a
then
huge
I
fan
got
of
to-
running in one place.
Yeah, then I got to look at some of the see where some of the things are. Gave me a couple of new ideas for, some light fixtures I might get this
Really?
year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
We're very
Maybe
excited.
some faucets?
I think that's a guy trying to get away from his family.
Well, sure. That's all it is. That's all anything
Come on.
is. Well, the ones he cared about were gone.
I love my family so much. In fact, I was thinking that last night. Like, I do love my kids and stuff, right? Lay that out there.
Okay.
But these people that are in my home now, like my girls are both go to college and they're both like 20. And so now they're like, these people don't belong in this home. I don't know who these people are. These are foreigners. These aren't the girls that I remember, like the sweet girls, and we'll watch a Christmas show together, and we'll just, like, whatever, like, I don't know. These are mad people. These are madmen. These are insane people.
This
Yeah.
is how our dream starts. All weekend I thought, how can we get Dan to give his inheritance or whatever to someone else?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get the Rose twins out of here.
I was thinking personally
They're on
about
their
what
way
the
out.
funniest outcomes would be. Because the first one that comes to mind, of course, is he's a recently graduated tri-delt from SMU or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what would even be funnier, given how little respect they have for what we do, is a sort of dividend for subscribers. So there's
Yeah.
what 5,000 to 7,000 people who just receive X amount of money upon the execution of the will, and so I think that would piss them off worse.
Yeah.
So I like that option.
Mm-hmm.
I like that option.
That's a good idea.
But yeah,
So while I'm at Home Depot or Lowe's, I was at Lowe's because I was thinking, you know what? I could do this now. I could come here like every day, but then I thought the people will think I'm weird, so I can just go to Home Depot on the other day.
they're gonna think you're even weirder when they notice that you have a schedule for it. And if you were looking for any confirmation of an adult being diagnosed with autism, they'll do it for you when you show up at Lowe's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an hour. They're like, what is this guy's deal? Same route every time?
Yeah, but I feel like those stores are used to repeat customers. There's a lot of contractors that go in there all the time.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
they don't
Maybe he
look
could-
like him.
Well, no.
Yeah, I got to wear my my jeans with the hammer thing on the
yeah,
side and all that.
yeah, for sure.
So at Lowe's, as I'm checking out in line, first of all, I've been seeing a lot of, I think it's become normalized, people just wearing pajama pants in public.
I know the high schoolers do it.
And then there was a kid who I'm going to say he was around from 9 to 11. It feels like he wasn't quite a teenager yet, but I could be wrong. A boy wearing a full onesie. Like way too old to be wearing a full onesie out in public. But he was walking around in his pajamas, like full pajamas at Lowe's. I'm like, what are these people? What's going on here? Like, I don't know. I don't think we should all be wearing suits at a baseball game. Like
Yeah,
you see
come on,
pictures
old
of
man.
but then I get mad when I get on a plane. And everybody's wearing like sweats and pajamas and like let's just have a little semblance of society, people.
We're in the comfy era.
Like
Which
it's
I support.
the era of just be whoever you want to be. all
But
the
I'm
time.
going to be a hypocrite and say that while that's a very old man take that I laugh at and derisively, I draw the line at your feet being exposed. I think that's a pretty obvious one. You can't have your feet exposed in close quarters to another human's feet. So if you have sandals or you take
But
your
if you're at
shoes
the
off-
beach, you're fine with it?
Yeah, you're not really like sitting down next to a stranger with their feet out at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I have no problem with the pajama. I don't know really how I normally say that. In public, it would be maybe been weird if they were working there, but even then, why does it matter? It's just a different form of cloth.
And then
Doesn't
the
matter.
other
And by the way, if they want to institute suits on the plane again, I'll do it if I can smoke an entire pack of cigarettes. I mean, this has got to be a trade-off.
And sexually harass the flight
Yeah, if I'm going to
attendants.
need a handful of butt a couple times. you
Well, I'm
know.
going to sit in the non-smoking section, so it won't bother me.
Yeah, you won't smell it.
That's. I can't believe that happened.
You would be right next to another table in a restaurant.
Smoking or non.
That was the non-smoking section.
I think that, to me, more than even like, hey, there were people that supported slavery that you might not have thought they did. I think smoking is the change in barometer that can become normal. And what I mean by that is it definitely smelled the same back then as it does now, but society collectively had just accepted it to a point where it no longer bothered them.
It's really incredible.
It's because it happened pretty
Because
fast.
also, you might have thought it could never happen because big tobacco, money, it controls everything. Yet it
Classic case.
happened. Like the demise of smoking it doesn't make sense.
No. No.
And then one more thing, I got vaccinated. Got the double vax. We went flu shot left arm, COVID shot right arm.
Get some groceries?
10% off my groceries
Yeah.
at Tom Thumb. And then some of my groceries that I bought, we were unloading them at home. Because you guys know I'll cut up apples. And so when I cut up apples, I don't eat it with a fork. I'll have a toothpick, and I eat each piece with a toothpick. And then I had dropped the box of toothpicks on the ground. And there was some left in the box, and I was able to ascertain, like I knew right away, it was a box of 200 toothpicks, and 157 of them were on the ground. Like I could count them immediately.
That's crazy. You should go to Vegas.
And it was within hours after being vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how that works?
That's exactly how. Usually not.
'Cause it's still-
usually about a week or two, but
Boy, it
in some
happened
cases,
right away.
In some cases, it can.
Like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I wonder if I could count cards. I should try that. It's a good idea.
And you already have a bit with plane crashes. So that's kind of already been in you, right?
What do you mean?
Couldn't he remember every flight number of every plane that crashed or knew? That's a part of the movie. I know
It is. I'm not trying to not support you. I was just enjoying how this was going.
He wouldn't fly on certain airlines because they had crashed and he knew the flight number and the day it happened. That's
Did
why
he?
Tom Cruise couldn't get him to Vegas or whatever. They had to drive.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he knew the flight number of everyone.
Am I
I
wrong?
knew, Qantas.
I don't think that you're wrong.
Qantas, right?
Yeah.
That was the one airline that had never had a crash.
That I don't remember.
Oh,
That sounds good.
Okay.
Collectively, we could probably explain the movie. Independently, we can't.
It's really kind of a bummer that they didn't somehow come up with some science to say that the shot made you trans. That would have been way funnier. Because that's what happened
we
to
should
me.
research
Yeah.
all the people that are going trans. Did you get vaccinated as a baby for polio? Oh
Started riding with my left hand.
my gosh.
Crazy, right? Tripled.
That's my weekend.
Yeah, I didn't have. I don't have like a ton, to be honest with you. Really wish the kids were back at school today, but they're not.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Don't know. It's
My wife's at school.
I know these districts are starting Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Did have
They
a.
want to celebrate Jan 6.
Yeah.
We had a. Boy, it is weird when your kid will just break out into the pledge. Because I just kind of forgot they do that at school. And so she'll start saying it.
When do they stop? Because certainly you can't have a high school kid doing, like, they'll all be doing bits.
I remember doing it through junior high.
I don't remember doing it as a high school kid.
I don't either.
So
I
it's
don't
not
either.
important. Like, when is Do we only do it when we can make the kids do kind of whatever we want?
Yeah, I mean, but it's weird. She doesn't understand what any of those words mean, and she'll just kind of randomly break into it.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had what can be nerve-wracking, but really more for the mom or whoever's the primary planner than the dad, which is the play date at your house. That's nerve-wracking. We got to have stuff to do. I got to get some snacks. We need this to be fun. And then you're kind of like feeling as the mom when they come to pick up is judging you a little bit based on everything.
Yeah.
Like my kid, the younger one, was having a meltdown, serious meltdown when they came to pick her up. And we'll break off the phone for 10 minutes with the 2-year-old. We will. It's sad. We didn't do it with Nora. We will with him. And I'm like, Mom, this lady's like, she's got to be judging us. But it's just weird having another kid in your house. I'm sure you get used to it. Like, you had tons of sleepovers and stuff. But when there's another child in my home that I did not produce, it's weird for me.
You don't really care about them?
Well, I mean, like, there's a little not downstairs, but a new bathroom that's by where my wife's office is. I was watching the game in her office. At some point, I had to go there, had to take a dump. So I did. And then, like, 5 minutes later, they were looking, Nora and her friend, for a room that was dark.
Oh, no.
So that they could play with, like, she was like, I want you to see this glow-in-the-dark thing, this glow-in-the-dark thing. But we don't have, like, shades on most of our windows right now. There's really nowhere it can get dark. Nora was like, I know one. There's no window in that bathroom. And I was like, you guys don't want to go in there. And they both started giggling. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because I pooped. I just took a big poop. And it was the funniest thing they'd heard all day. Because we're in the poop zone. I've told you guys that, right? Everything, she'll just replace a subject and a verb of every sentence with poop.
Yeah.
Hey, before we do this, I'm going to need you to clean up your room. How about I poop up my poop?
There we go.
And she just dies laughing. Every time. So, it was weird having another kid in the home. Speaking of returning to school, I was looking at our PTA little flyer this morning for the return to school. Here's a scam I didn't know about, and I'm fully prepared for us to be banned from participating in PTA at one point. Next week is Hats Off to Learning, where you can donate $1 and the kid gets to wear a hat to school. Really? That's an affront to my integrity as a parent. You're admitting it doesn't matter if they wear a hat. It's obviously not going to turn into Columbine by the afternoon if they have hats on.
So generally, hats are not welcome?
No.
But for $1.
But for $1, we can let this unruly event take place. I don't know. And the only other thing I did is I went to a 5 o'clock dinner with my wife, with the kids staying at my parents'. Went to 6:45 ice cream and went to bed. we do it even when the kids are not with us.
I'm telling you, I'm really a proponent of the 5:30 dinner.
Yeah.
I would love to go to 5 o'clock if I could.
We probably got there at 5:15.
Yeah.
It's chill. It's nice.
But it is a thing.
Dude, it was early enough that we were able to get happy hour prices on food, and it was like a small plates place.
I discovered it.
Amazing.
I discovered it when the girls were babies.
Yeah, same here.
And then you're like, wow, this is really great. Why does this have to stop now?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
let's eat early. Let's get up early. Let's do some stuff.
That was just one of those nights where I realized, like, it's
Blake's
not
like,
just the
"Oh,
kids.
man."
It's
If I want to beat a crowd, I'll go at 5:30.
I always want to beat a crowd.
Other than that, maybe we'll touch on this in the news later today, maybe throughout the week. But other than that, I just spent the weekend learning the ins and outs of various conspiracy theories that are in the news right now. The Cybertruck thing, something smells, boys.
Okay, is that in the news?
Yeah.
Let's do some sports then, if we can. Maybe the Cowboy game is where we can start, as the Cowboys were not victorious yesterday. We did not do a live stream, and this will be brought to you by Ownwell. Ownwell is the place that helps homeowners save on property taxes. You know what? They also do other things. What else do they do for you,
Hey, listen,
Blake?
I'm here to say it may be, instead of the year of Jake, the year of Blake.
Well, I've been on Ownwell for some time, and I'm past the property tax phase, and now we're into the other bills phase where they lowered my Spectrum bill. They kind of re-entered me as a new customer. They just like to check in on some things. Sometimes it doesn't work. They could not lower my AT&T bill, which is fine. I've been locked in for a long time.
But now you know.
But now I know, and I don't have to ask them to do that. They just, hey, checking on this for you.
Yeah.
Ownwell.com/thedumbzone. I went there, and it indicated it really couldn't save me a lot on property taxes. So it just tells you that right away. It takes you like 3 minutes to find that out.
But you must have been out an arm and a leg to find that out.
No, nothing.
Jeez.
Didn't pay anything. In fact, they charge what they do charge you only if you make money. So if they get you $1,000 back, they'll charge you, 25% of that,
Yeah.
which is the lowest on the market. Other places will do this same thing, but they'll charge you like 40%. So check them out, ownwell.com/thedumbzone. They're great. You know what? We have a sit-in. We actually have 2 sit-ins today. We have Stu, who is on the couch, and we have Ryan, who is behind Stu.
I think it's Stu's birthday.
Today?
December 11th.
Okay.
Long
Not even
time
close,
ago.
really.
Nope.
Not even-
Yeah,
different
well, I mean, it
month,
takes
year,
some time.
It's double digit. It's
It
not.
takes some time. I think I share a birthday with TC, maybe.
Really?
I think so.
I should probably know that also. And
It's okay. I'm kind of a better friend of TC's than yours, probably.
that
so.
is becoming apparent today.
Yeah, you wouldn't leave him sitting out, make him drive all the way from Dallas for nothing.
So what's your bit? Who booked this? Which one of you?
So my brother
Okay.
and my wife collaborated on a gift.
Nice.
Which is, very nice of them. But, yeah, we both subscribers.
You don't want your brother and your wife
listen.
collaborating too
Yeah,
closely.
Yeah,
that's the Bidens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, if I die, I don't know. But yeah, got me the gift.
the
Which
most
is great.
forbidden
So
of all fruit.
excited to be here. I think my only bit to share with you guys is the card trays. I made the card trays.
The Mavs one?
Yeah. And
Wow.
the
Oh,
All-Star,
okay.
the Cleveland one. Yeah.
The
How'd
Cavs
you,
one.
You
Did I
made
say-
it?
I did. Yeah.
How did you do that? Are you a woodworker? And what is that on it? Like
A
epoxy
little
or
bit
something?
epoxy. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Wow.
I use
So
it
do
to
some-
eat dinner on the couch.
Do you really?
Like
Nice.
it's downstairs right now.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they holding up okay? They still look all right?
Oh, they're great.
It's fantastic. I even had I lent it to the tree place where we were to see if they
Oh,
wanted
nice.
to try to produce them. But yeah, it's
I'll take
that's
10%.
super solid.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say.
Now I
That'd be
know.
great, yeah.
Do you woodworking as a
No, just for fun.
wow.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, it's really fun.
You
Man.
ever been to Lowe's?
Been to Lowe's? Yeah, I like to go and just walk.
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, get a lot of stuff
But have you
there.
been to the one in South Lake though? It's
I bet it's really nice.
yeah,
love
it's
it.
super
I bet it's
super
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
People come from afar.
The other bit is I'm having you guys out to another remote later this month, at least I think, for a grand opening for Rivian.
Oh, nice.
You guys
Oh.
know this? I don't
Very
know if
excited
I
about
heard
that.
about that.
If Julie shared that with you guys.
You're associated with them?
Yeah, I work for Rivian. Yeah.
Big fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
They're
Yeah.
very,
I
very
did.
cool
I did have a
cars.
question about. And we can do this off the air as well. I think she has you scheduled on a Wednesday. But
Yeah.
I think you guys also do a business Wednesday. But maybe that's a
Hey,
business.
coming out
Rivian-
to a grand opening seems like business.
It is
to me.
business. Yeah,
Yeah.
So maybe it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys close and stuff?
Yeah. I live
Good.
down in Austin, and he's up here. But yeah, just
Cool.
came up for this.
Nice. Cowboy fan?
So
Oh, yeah.
yesterday's game, I don't know what level they are. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, and then you had one sideline reporter.
Yeah, there's only a single booth that has two. That's your A team.
I was only saying it because her name is Pink.
Okay.
So
Yep.
thank you, Blake. Christina Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Amin. I've talked about this broification of announcers. So everybody sees that Kevin Burkhardt has ascended to number one. And so what can I would like to be number one. I should probably do stuff like they're doing. Like that's why we're doing a lot of Rogan type stuff
Yes.
these days.
That vaccination bit was good.
And Jason Kelsey's wife stuff. I don't know what any of those people do, but
Do that
because we
tomorrow.
want to be number one. So they're they kind of bro down a little bit. And it's the way to bro down is by shortening someone's name or using initials for their name. So we've seen EA and KB. KB is with TB. And Adam Amin's like, oh, that's how you do it?
It's going to be third down after the bat down by Armstrong. Carissa Thompson has a game break for a CT.
Thanks so much, Adam. Packers hosting the Bears.
The second down coming up for Washington. Carissa Thompson's got a game break, CT.
Yes, I do, Adam.
It's a first down scramble of 16 yards. Carissa Thompson's got a game break, CT.
Adam.
Wow, good stuff, CT. Again, and it's good enough for a first down as we check in with KP.
Dallas is the last team we lost to. Our players are not gassed. We have a lot to gain from this game, and we don't want to turn it off.
Good stuff, KP. And 6 penalties to your point, KP. KP, you chatted with Dan Quinn. Give me a little sense of the decision. That's been the case so far, KP. Great stuff.
Jeez.
Showing some cleave, too, Christina Pink. The little triangle cleave thing up in the top. Like, they just cut this piece of your sweater out just for the sole purpose in case we weren't really positive you had big jugs. Like, it's just an interesting look. Like, it doesn't make any sense. If you were to explain this to little Nora, who's wondering why the Mavs cheerleaders have fat boobies, she would be like, "Why? Why do you have that? Why does that shirt look like that?" It'd be like if we had pants that just showed the shaft, like just the top of your dick. Like, here, okay, these are some new pants. Yeah, they just open like this, and that's how, like.
Yeah.
And she just wears it like that all the time.
Yeah, or
I'm going to show you just enough.
Or
to get you all horny.
Because you can get away with it just side ball.
Yeah, just
like
a little
side boob, but it's just you just have side ball.
A couple hairs coming out of there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, I know what you're saying, but I mean, dudes wear like V-neck shirts to show they have a little.
Yeah, but that's not a. Well, whatever. Anyway,
were you about to say?
I'm not against it.
Yeah,
I'm pro.
I think it's weird. The first time he did it,
Christina Pink. She might be right up there with my favorite sideline reporters.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I think they are like the C team, the number 3 team.
Okay.
It gets a lot worse.
Ooh.
There's like Chris Myers.
I haven't watched a lot of Browns games.
Moose is in here somehow.
Moose is somewhere.
CT, that's a funny one. I think KB does it also.
From?
Well, he used to be like at least the number 2 team.
Okay, I don't think his talent has changed.
Moose?
Yeah, he's the same.
Yeah, he's pretty far down there. But when you throw it to her, it's weird because it sounds like you're saying CTE.
CTE, yeah.
Hey, what's going on with CTE? Well, and they just cut to another guy just lifeless.
And Antonio Brown is down there.
Dude, he is on such a heater.
What a sideline reporter he would be.
Do you know about his weekend?
No. Did we get a cracker of the day?
We did Cracker of the Year, which was Shane Gillis. He won. he had like a live stream award ceremony. It was like an hour and a half long.
Antonio Brown?
Yeah, at a podium, at a trophy.
Wow. How did I miss all that?
No, so Notre Dame in the playoff, they are putting their names on the back of their jerseys, which they do not do. But they have made the decision to put their last name on the back of their jerseys for the playoffs. Now, Notre Dame has a walk-on cornerback named Charles Du, D-U. He is Chinese. And on the back of his jersey, he has Chinese characters spelling out his name in Mandarin, I assume. And AB took a video that he saw of that and dubbed him Blank of the Day, and it rhymes with blink. And then said, a legend. Got an NIL deal for this kid. Tag his ex for me. I believe the next morning, Charles Du quote tweeted that and said, excited to announce I've signed an NIL deal with CTESPN. Because the New York Post had done a story that said that AB spoiled this kid's moment. And Charles Du said, at NY Post has it wrong. Spoiled? No way. AB's daily award is a sign of love and respect. CTESPN is the most trusted source in all of sports.
That's really him?
Yeah.
That's great.
He's just having fun with it. So anyways, yeah. Over to you, CTE. I like Adam Amin. I do. But he is definitely trying to let you know he's a young guy. He'll bro down on you.
I mean, I have some more Adam Amin. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Let's talk actually about the game just a little bit because, I mean, there's not really a lot. Who cares? Didn't care who won or lost. The fact that a cheerleader got hit in the head by Brandon Aubrey, that's cool.
Unbelievable.
Can't wait to talk to him. Hopefully we'll do that tomorrow.
Can I ask a question about that play that I'm very confused about, and I intentionally did not look up so I could just ask you guys and see what you thought? So they kicked that ball from the 50, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the personal foul on, was it Deron Payne? On the extra point. So they kicked it from the 50, meaning that penalty was assessed for a personal foul. By kicking from the 50, the penalty is being assessed. Mm-hmm. He kicked the ball out of bounds. And instead of starting on the 40, they started at their own 25, Washington, and they said, that's the assessment of the penalty. That makes no sense to me.
That's twice.
How is it that you can, if
oh, yeah.
It feels like double jeopardy to me, but they never even really stopped down to talk about it.
I guess it just must be if you kick it out of bounds, it's just X amount of yardage from the kickoff spot. So the rule is not you start at the 40. The rule is you start 35 yards, whatever.
25 yards from
where the kickoff
spot?
was. Yeah. So because same thing, if the penalty went the other way and they're kicking off from the 15 and they kick it out of bounds, then it should be put more towards midfield.
Okay, so
that makes sense, but I've never heard that.
That does
before.
make sense. It's from the kickoff spot, not from the regular spot that you would usually return from.
Right.
We just identify it as the 40, but it's actually whatever.
Huh.
I've never.
So that
seen
wasn't that bad to kick it out of bounds.
No, I feel like we've talked about that with them.
I must have forgot.
Okay.
To kick it out of bounds there, no. I mean, you might as well.
Yeah. So it was.
You might
actually,
as well try
I thought
to
he
pin him
muffed it, but that was actually totally intentional.
He probably didn't mean to hit her.
Oh, that guy can aim. I mean, he can hit the goalpost if he wants.
It would have been funnier if he'd have done it the week they were playing. The other time they played was at Washington, right? And their kicker was dating a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And all could just drills.
Yeah.
Hit Rowdy. So Trey Lance finally gets in. Cooper Rush gets screwed on his incentives. We were talking all last week about different incentives that people have.
Yeah.
Apparently Cooper Rush, what, $500,000?
Yeah,
like he started a certain amount of.
There was a
certain percentage of the plays.
He'd already gotten the 250. I think this would have been 250 more, not another 500.
So I don't understand. Trey Lance, I don't think he looked horrible.
No.
In fact, he looked just as good as I guess Cooper Rush would look. He certainly has. He's not as careful with the ball as Cooper Rush, but he offers more athleticism than Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush can't break out of the pocket. You can't design runs for Cooper Rush, and I just don't understand at all their thought process on what they were doing to have Cooper, like you knew what Cooper Rush was when Dak got hurt. Unless you have a head coach who feels that he needs to win as many games as he can to try to trick an old man into giving him another guaranteed contract, so I'm going to start Cooper Rush. Like, it's really an odd situation.
It is.
We should have been watching Trey Lance for weeks just to see. Let's see what happens to him when people make adjustments to Trey Lance's game. Let's see when people can prepare for Trey Lance. Because they also gave him this game, two teams that don't really care, and then they didn't really announce it, so they weren't positive that Trey Lance would be starting, and that sometimes makes a difference.
Yeah, it's weird that he's on the team, but I think it is exactly what you said. I think that McCarthy thought, well, a better showing could give me a better chance of sticking around here. I also think Jerry wanted to play Cooper Rush until they were eliminated from the playoffs.
That seems weird.
Because a couple things break this way.
They were eliminated
that way.
last week, though, and they didn't play him.
I know, but CD was still playing, so I kind of feel like that had something to do with it. No, wait, he didn't play.
Wouldn't that help Trey Lance?
Yeah, I think they just wanted to make sure he got the
1,000 yards.
The 1,000 yards and the I don't know,
man.
But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't make sense why he's on the team. But I think they look at fourth-round picks. Clearly, that's the level at which they say, this is not worth that much, but maybe we could do a little sizzle here. Because, I mean, Mingo was a second-round pick, and a lot of people thought he was going to be A.J. Brown. They'll do that. They'll give you a second-round pick for some guy that people used to think was a future Hall of Famer. But if it's a boring running back, they're like, I don't know. Just another Rico Dowdle. But I don't think Dak was ever not going to be re-signed. Cooper Rush was always going to give you a better chance to win. Trey Lance is certainly more exciting. I don't see any way he's back here next year. Unless they just decide he can be the backup and Cooper Rush is too expensive, which I would bring Cooper Rush back almost no matter what.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's not Mariota. But
what do you mean by that?
I think Mariota's a real good backup quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, maybe the system is helping a little bit, but there's a crop of dudes. Like Gardner Minshew's one. At this point, what's his name? Mac Jones might be one. Guys who can win games if things go right. And I think Cooper Rush is in that second tier. He's basically the Dak of backup quarterbacks.
Just boring, but can
For
get the
most
job
part,
done.
Yeah. For the most part. And then
Yeah.
other than that, Micah. Just watching Micah do Micah. It's always going to be fun.
Yeah, he got a couple sacks right on the first drive.
Yeah.
Even Mozzie got a sack yesterday.
That'll be an interesting one to watch this offseason.
Why? Is it his fifth-year option time?
No, I just think that he has another year, but I mean, he's not really been – he's gotten better, but he's not really been good, and they could still get out of that if they wanted.
A big topic, of course, is McCarthy. I think we're going to try and get into that a lot here in a little bit because Jerry talked at length about McCarthy in his post-game thing. But, yeah, Trey Lance, I guess he'll just become a free agent, and I don't know that anyone would sign him for more than their practice squad. Maybe.
You don't think somebody else,
maybe heavily incentive-laden,
if Dallas were to sign him for a 1 or 2 year deal, would offer them a fourth?
No. It's ridiculous. Oh, you're joking to me. Like, what are you saying?
No, I don't think anybody will offer them anything for it makes no sense. It was ridiculous.
So, on the one hand, it was great that they didn't play him because nobody got to see.
So many chess games going on. I like watching him play. It's wild, but it's fun. It's different.
Yeah. No, that's why I thought it would have been nice to see him play for a few games. Like 5 games. Give him a nice little stretch. Let's just see. Let's see, can McCarthy be innovative?
They tried a couple things yesterday I was surprised by. Whether it was like a pistol where they had Dowdle and Lipke back there, or the keepers where they basically just ran a full, sweep. They tried a couple things. But it's still McCarthy. And Brandon made all his field goals.
Yeah, they said early in the game
LA.
like he set the Cowboy record for field goals. I was very surprised by that. How many does he have this year?
It's not on the internet.
No. Yeah. There's no way to know.
But that's also a pretty rough stat. That means
it means
you
their red zone
dog
performance
shit
was
in the red
terrible.
zone.
Yeah.
And that should not be the case if you're playing with a mobile quarterback.
Damn, he made 40 this year.
That's a lot.
A ton.
I think Chris Boswell
Almost
made
2.5 a game.
41 to lead the league. So he almost led the league. Is he an All-Pro again this year?
He's on the short list, but I'd have to look at the others. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler.
Mahomes isn't even a Pro Bowler.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a sort
Think
of
of it. Burrow,
personal
Allen,
slight we take to heart over here.
and Lamar.
Oh, he didn't have that great of a year.
No,
And
not
just
not
numbers
statistically.
wise.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Not that great of a year. He went 15-1.
right. The AFC is stacked.
Got some Deuce Vaughn,
Yeah.
who I now think of Dan anytime he's on the field.
Why?
Just because I know you're disgusted by the fact that they made a Disney movie draft pick.
Well, you didn't get any Zeke.
No, you didn't.
Signed with the Lions?
That happened? Or you're kidding?
Or the Eagles?
Well, they were.
Who did
Well,
he
the
sign
Eagles
with?
were on his short list, weren't they?
Oh, he had a list.
Do you remember that? When he went to New England, it was the Bengals. It was like, wasn't it the year that it was?
It was the Bengals, the
the
Eagles.
the Super Bowl teams. He's like, all right, 49ers, Bengals, Eagles, Chiefs.
The thing is, you just need those teams to also have an interest. So, Mark Sanchez, let's talk Mark Sanchez.
Okay, we'll talk Mark Sanchez. He probably won't ever come down from this inflection on his voice in the sentence. He's going to throw it deep here. If they catch it, it'll be a first down.
He's really good to Dak, his rookie year.
He's horrible.
I respect him.
On these games. Here's him talking about Zeke.
Yeah, and I could see him going somewhere as an insurance policy for somebody. I mean, he's still got plenty of tread left on the tires, especially for a playoff run.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird situation all year for him.
Yeah.
Didn't quite know what his role was going to be in training camp. They kind of rested him, so you thought, okay, they're keeping him fresh for
He
the
does
season.
talk up there.
He's a veteran. And then when the games came, he just didn't get a ton of carries, and Dowdle kind of took over. So unfortunate for Zeke in his return, but just didn't work out for both sides, and I'm glad they gave him an opportunity to potentially pursue a Super Bowl.
I'm glad you finished a sentence with a period the way it's supposed to sound.
An opportunity to potentially pursue a Super Bowl.
The assistant to the assistant district manager.
So
that's insane.
This is the thing. Mark Sanchez doesn't really say anything. He doesn't have an opinion except for everybody's great because he said about Zeke.
Yeah, and I could see him going somewhere as an insurance policy for somebody. I mean, he's still got plenty of tread left on the tires.
Plenty of tread left on the tires when he's talking about Marcus Mariota, who he mispronounces his name every time.
He's got plenty of gas left in the tank. You can tell he's got a suddenness to him and a burst in the pocket.
He's just telling you everybody's great. He kept saying Mariota, which it's not a big deal, but it is pronounced Mariota, and everybody else gets it right. So this was interesting to me. I didn't know what this meant, but this was after a big catch by Washington.
You see Zacchaeus seals the edge, and there goes Bates. We used to call this the old white trash route. Show like you're going to run a corner and then go across the field.
Why would that be called a white trash route?
Why? Why is that tight end position
Oh,
trash?
I thought he said white trash.
No, you're like me with 32. I'm gay.
I swear to God he says that.
It's why. It's the
We used
why.
to call this the old white trash route. Show like you're going to run a corner and then go across the field.
I will not believe you.
Well,
he
it's
said
the
white
guy
trash.
who's playing Y, and he ran like the pickup route, the pickup trash route. But yes, it would be very funny.
I was like, why is it called the white trash route? I love that stuff because there are so many non-politically correct things that they say in sports.
Oh, yeah.
That they won't bring to the broadcast.
Yeah.
They won't be Parcells, the Jap play, or no, was that Zimmer? He's like, yeah, I love that Mike Zimmer.
And Pate.
He's got that.
He's
Jap.
talking about both of them.
Oh, he was talking about
How
that.
they'll surprise each other in practice.
We call it a Jap play.
Shout out Mike.
Japanese. And everybody's like, whoa, yeah, really?
No
Okay.
disrespect.
Shout out Mike Zimmer, by the way.
Engaged?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's older than I thought.
Yeah, it said 41.
Yeah.
So we're not waiting until the season's out? We're doing it like now?
Well, your quarterback did it during the season.
You had a week. You have a week to wait. Why?
Maybe she's pregnant.
Or a New Year's thing, was it?
Perhaps. Let's see. I mean, I'm looking at the post here. I don't know.
The New Year's thing is good for the dude.
Because you only got to do one thing.
Because he'll remember it.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
the lady
Yeah.
might be like, oh, I want a different day so it can be somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, so they – okay, his wife has been dead for a long time, so I thought we had a close one here. Because Jerry was in an interview like, hey, you know, if anybody knows what this guy's been through, his wife passed away at 50 in 2009, and then his son, who was 38, died from chronic alcohol disorder in 2002. That is hard to do by the age of 38. And I believe
chronic alcohol disorder, does that just mean
everything
you're an alcoholic?
shuts
You just
but
drink
like
so much?
Yeah, It's not even like a, quote, overdose type thing. It's just you've done enough for long enough that your body cannot function or recover. But now he's married to a Eastern European blonde that is 30 years younger than him.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, there you go. Look.
Good for him.
That's a man who once wore an eye patch on an NFL sideline. It actually happened.
And then Mark Sanchez, they were talking about Rico Dowdle going over 1,000 yards.
He had never had a 100-yard game. He's had 4 in the last 5 weeks, coming off 104 last week against the Eagles.
And remember, 1,000 yards in this league in a season is no small feat.
Really? Troy Aikman was broadcasting on Sunday night the Steelers game, Steelers-Bengals. Najee Harris, they were showing a graphic how Najee Harris had like 1,200 yards, but then like 3 seasons in a row he had like 1,035 yards, 1,034. Like it was really weird how close to 1,000 he was. Like he was barely getting 1,000 yards. So they were talking about that.
And he has had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. The Steelers declined his 5th-year option.
I think it's probably time we raise the bar on 1,000-yard running back seasons with 17 games. I mean, there was a time 1,000 yards was quite an accomplishment, but not so much anymore.
So that's the thing, Mark Sanchez. You have to say something. You have to have a real opinion. You can't just be like, hey, that's great. He's great. I'm great. We're all great. And Troy's right. It's kind of like right now if I said, hey, look at that. Baker Mayfield had 3,000 yards passing this year. You'd be like, okay. Like everybody should have 3,000 yards. That's kind of the low bar for a starting NFL quarterback nowadays.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, on one hand, maybe you could say like the guys split time more, but if you were good, you wouldn't be splitting that much time, and Le'Veon Bell really isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
Najee Harris.
Excuse me, yeah, Najee Harris. But not that many guys are getting 25 carries a game for, 16, 17 games. But
a 1,500-yard season is very impressive.
Right.
1,000 yards now, they just highlighted he just started getting 100-yard games.
But the point also is just that Troy's willing to be like, I don't like this. This is not good.
Yeah.
And Sanchez will not. I'm not going to criticize anyone.
Do you know what else Mark Sanchez loves? Well, this was there was that muffed punt.
Push your guy. If you can't get to the returner, push your guy into him. That's completely legal. You can't touch him yourself. But that was a rookie mistake by McCaffrey there, and a huge change of momentum.
Oh, the Cowboys got the momentum there, did they? Huh? The Washington had a dropped touchdown.
Right there, right after we highlighted him, he's going to have to pay a little fine in that wide receiver room. That's a no-brainer touchdown and a momentum swinger. Tough drop for him.
Momentum swinger. And then at the end of the half.
By the way, that was badass.
That play?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it run like that.
So what was it? A reverse?
Yeah, but they had it look like that was going to be the guy who was coming left was going to be the fake, and they had somebody coming behind him, like around. They flipped it to him, and he's left-handed.
It looked very cool.
And I'm like, whoa, I've never seen anybody try that before.
I think Cliff would be a fun offensive coordinator.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But then the end of the half, you get the ball. They were talking about Trey Lance had the ball and what they were trying to do there.
And this is their chance, with Trey in the game like this, to remind him in the headset, hey, we're trying to double up on points. We get the second half kick. Let's go down and ensure we get at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. And then we come back in that third quarter with some momentum and go score again.
Yes, you get a field goal at the end of the first half. You know what you go into the second half with? Momentum. But they didn't. And then I'll just give you the rest of my stuff, which is the Adam Amin stuff. Just a couple little clips for you. This was heading into the third quarter, I believe, as this game is garbage. We're watching it because it's our job. Maybe Brandon Aubrey will hit another cheerleader. Like, I didn't know what I'm still watching this game for, but he told me how good this game was.
And he'll take it into the red zone. That should take us to the end of quarter number 3. Still a lot to play for, especially for the Commanders.
All right, even as he says it, you can tell he doesn't believe it. He's trying, like, is what? Don't tune out.
Play for, especially for the Commanders. They're playing for seeding. Packers are trailing the Bears in the 3rd. Mariota is trying to put together some nice tape. Dallas trying to close out the season strong, beat up on their rival. Going to the 4th quarter here in Arlington.
So Mariota's tape. I'm supposed to watch this game because Mariota is trying to put together good tape, is basically what he told me.
Yeah, and the whole rivalry where the guy who we all loved in Dallas is the head coach over there.
It'd
now.
be great to
whatever.
I mean, this would be better than making the playoffs if we could just somehow win this
ruin
game.
their season.
Sure.
Adam Amin does try to be cool, and you could do that sometimes with distance, like if you get a sack or then a penalty and then a sack, and now you have it's a long. Now you have to punt.
So it's 4th and Fort Worth here.
Oh, right on. Yeah, okay.
But were they going west?
In any case, that's not that good, though.
Arlington's right next to Fort Worth.
Not that
That's
far.
a really bad one.
It's way better when
That'd be like 4th and 2.
It's way better like when Berman or even Followell now does one kind of obscure. Yeah,
4th and Wiley. 4th and
yeah.
Fort Worth. It's like
Yeah.
the 18th biggest city in America or something. Put some respect on us.
And then you said Adam Amin is trying to kind of be bro and trying to let you know that he's young, and he talks like young people talk.
Daniels loved that 33-yard sprint on the keep by Mariota.
Daniels said, hey, go ahead, old man. I'm hitching the trailer, baby.
Might have called him Unk right there.
I bet he didn't. I bet he did not. You're aware of the slang "unk" for older colleague, but that's about as far as I'm gonna take that one.
Mark Sanchez loves. It was even the 4th quarter. Got to keep pounding. He loves to set up the run, or he loves to establish the run.
Well, yeah.
He likes to establish the run,
He
run
didn't like
the rock.
having to throw the football.
Like hand off to Reggie Bush and what, LT?
So I had to look at Mark Sanchez.
Did you see how this is a tough spot because the guy was a really good player in college.
Who? Mark Sanchez? Okay.
Yeah, but when they do his little subheading when they introduce him, it just says former 5th overall draft pick.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, but I mean he was in the league for like a decade.
Yeah, he did make a conference championship.
I thought he made 2.
Yeah.
In my head, he was in 2 conference championships, so I thought, hey, he's pretty good. So let's play. Don't look at it. Or are you looking at his stats already?
I will close now without looking again.
Let's play Guess the Stats.
All I saw was the record.
So you saw his record. I thought it was better. 37 and 36.
That's not surprising to me because he really had like 2 years where the team was good.
Mm-hmm.
8-year career. 2 seasons over 3,000 yards passing.
Ball
well,
control.
that was a different era, right? No. His career started in 2009.
Yeah.
Romo's career started in, basically 2006, where he actually got to play. And we would say Romo's numbers are inflated because he played in this inflated era where everybody throws for lots of yards. Nope, not everybody. Not Mark Sanchez. How about the touchdowns to interceptions? How do you think that's looking? For instance, I'll tell you that Romo had 248 touchdowns and 117 interceptions.
Is Sanchez about even?
86 touchdowns, 89 interceptions.
Dang it!
Look, he's got to honor Broadway
So he didn't
Joe.
even
That's a Sammy Baugh.
Joe
but he didn't even
Namath.
touchdown ratio.
He didn't even take. He's in the take care of the ball era too.
Yeah.
So he didn't throw for a lot of yards, and he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
This is a 5th overall pick.
He was the 5th overall pick. So I don't know. Then I just got to clicking around, guys trying to put guys against guys because Tony Romo, then we were thinking, is there like an argument for Tony Romo for Hall of Fame? There kind of is, right? I remember that thought, and the thought always was, if he had a Super Bowl or if he had any postseason success, we could then make that argument. But without that, we can't. And so we kind of, no one ever really has made that argument because he did put up some really good numbers. But if you look at Eli Manning.
No.
Because that's the new thing this year. Eli Manning is eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like he's in the final 15, I believe. And I don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. But he did win 2 Super Bowls. And his name is Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
So that could get him in. His record was 117 and 117. 366 touchdowns, 244 interceptions. But I don't know, man.
No, there's a million stats you can look at on Eli Manning. If you look at the percentage of games he had in his career where he won with a quarterback rating of below 80, it's very high.
Really?
And then if you compare that to Romo, if Romo didn't play well, they almost never won. Not never, but he didn't have many wins where he had a rating as poor as those games Eli won. But whatever, it's the Hall of Fame. Who cares?
Oh, man.
That's what I have to say to not let Eli get one more over on Romo. Like, oh, you got the Hall of Fame too? I don't even care about that.
Yeah. I don't think he will. Any other games you want to mention before we take a break and talk McCarthy and Jerry and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we can do some of this tomorrow also. But, yeah, we can do a quick little rundown. I mean, it was as fun as a weekend with so little at stake could be. I mean, last night was a complete dud, obviously.
What if the other games we mentioned are brought to you by Qualis Roofing?
Ooh.
I'd like to cover the other games.
How? Like a roof?
And Qualis Roofing has covered my house. Yes, I have a roof here, courtesy of Qualis Roofing. Well, I mean, we paid for it and everything. But basically, we only paid, what do they call that? The
deductible?
The deductible, whatever. Like, they took care of it through my insurance company. In fact, they dealt with all the phone calls with the insurance company. They took care of it every step of the way. Their Qualis website?
Qualis GC.
QualisGC.com. Or 817-500-9008.
Yeah, that's right. 500-9008. They kind of got in front of the whole Adam Amin, Kevin Burkhardt thing. Qualis GC.
Yeah.
GC.
They're
they were
cool
on that
like
early.
that.
Yeah, and if you have them out, they'll give you a free no-obligation inspection. And with that, they'll give you a shirt. If you get a roof there, you get yourself a $690.
You get yourself a sit-in.
That's right.
You could sit in here above my garage, under a Qualis roof, or in our downtown Dallas studio. So check out Qualis Roofing.
The number 1 pick. That was a fun race.
My God.
Yeah.
So the number 1 pick was New England. All they had to do was lose to the Bills. And Jared Mayo.
Doesn't matter now. Not gonna work here anymore.
So he gets fired after the game.
Yeah.
And they won the game. So they dropped 3 spots. They dropped to 4th. And a lot of the thought was, hey, they, at least to get the number 1 pick, they'll be able to trade out of that to a quarterback-hungry team, maybe one of the next few teams, I don't know, like the Giants, or maybe the Browns, or who's the other one in there? Oh, Tennessee. Because now it's Tennessee,
Raiders,
Cleveland, the Browns. Well, the point is those 3 teams jumped up ahead of New England now since New England won. And now they can't trade. So they could have traded, swap picks there and gotten a bunch more with it. Maybe even a first rounder next year. That's how it gets when teams get real horny for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Now they don't have that ability anymore. So the question is, did they know they were going to fire him before the game? And if you did know you were going to fire him before the game, why not just take care of it instead of allowing him to possibly lead them to a victory? Like, you can do things to make yourself lose, I think.
Yeah, who was it a couple of years ago? Was it Lovey?
Lovey Smith with the Houston.
The FU.
Yeah, he cost them somebody. I forget who.
He cost him
Caleb.
No.
It was before that.
It was the year before. We've been thinking that was actually a good move.
Oh, Stroud?
It was
Young
C.J.
here?
Stroud
Bryce.
they ended up with. They didn't get Bryce Young.
Well,
We'll see.
But you know what else you also do is your draft position changes in all the rounds.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I think it would be universally viewed as a pretty shitty thing to do to just fire a guy before Week 18.
Okay.
Like, as far as just there is something
then
to
gamble with your future.
Well, it's a gamble either way. I mean, you're firing the guy because you think he sucks. So isn't it more likely he's going to suck in that game anyways?
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad coach.
But you could at least get someone else in there to say, we all get what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be here next
I know,
year, you're
but
on staff.
I mean, they did play Joe Milton.
Unless there's some sort of extra payout for firing him during the season as opposed to
That's
afterwards.
possible, yeah. But I don't know. That would just – you're not wrong. It's just not the sort of thing that pro sports teams do because it definitely creates a weird vibe for what type of organization you are. But, I mean, they played a guy who was not good at all in college.
Throw it real far.
He could throw it real far. He was a prospect, but it's Joe Milton.
They're absolutely hiring for Abel, right?
It certainly looks that way. It would make too much sense.
Mm-hmm.
They probably already have that deal in place. I would
probably.
guess.
So, yeah, you had
Unless the Cowboys are talking to him.
The Giants beat the Colts last week. That screwed them. But the Titans lost to the Jaguars twice in the final month of the season. That's commitment.
They deserve that number one
They
pick for doing
absolutely deserve that number one pick. Speaking of the Patriots, I did not realize until he got fired the whole how Gerard Mayo came to be the head coach of the Patriots. Like, they didn't do a search at all. It was very Jason Kidd. Well, somewhat Jason Kidd. There was actually a contractual thing, I believe, that Belichick was going to hand it off to Gerard Mayo.
Oh, really?
Like, Belichick picked him. Like, this is the guy you want.
Oh, I didn't know
They
that.
didn't. I don't think they interviewed anybody.
I didn't think it was Belichick, though. I thought Kraft was just enamored with him because he was a former player.
Maybe you're right. I just know that it was the deal was in place, a la
Okay. See,
Will Muschamp, not even like Belichick. in
I'm
North
guessing
Carolina.
it wasn't Belichick only because it seemed Kraft and Belichick were at odds there at the end.
But they didn't do a search, is what I'm saying. And,
I do know that.
Kind of satified the Rooney Rule by just hiring him.
Right.
So there was none
How come
of
there's
that.
no white Rooney Rule?
I know, right? Especially today. You would think with Black Monday being on Jan 6th, they'd respect us a little bit.
Unbelievable.
So Gronk was asked about this on the Fox post-game show. We've got that video, Rob. And we talked about this last week, how ESPN is kind of they're making their own stories and then arguing about it on other shows, and they're kind of creating all of this drama on their own network. Well, Fox, for once, has someone throw out an opinion, and they seem to get away from it pretty immediately. So Gronk is beginning on the Patriots
Gerard
firing.
Mayo out after one season as the Patriots head coach.
I was shocked by that, and to happen that soon was a shocker to a lot of people, especially here at the desk. We were all surprised by that. I think it was unfair to Coach Gerard Mayo. I mean, he had never had the chance to develop as a head coach. He was just a rookie himself in that department. And if you judge a coach by their first year, that's really not appropriate. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, you went 1-15 your first year, and then you won a couple Super Bowls after that. I mean, he really...
Hey, we got to go to break.
I mean...
All right, we're going to keep talking about that. Yeah, we get much more in the OT later already.
Dude, that was weird.
Did he's finally starting. But that's not okay. If you say Gronk in 10 seconds, that's not a subject for 10 or 15 seconds because you have to go to break.
Yeah.
And I think Menifee coughs in the middle there. Howie's trying to get his attention. They are clearly saying, we're not going to start this dialogue right now.
Interesting.
But why even bring it up? Why let Gronk talk on it?
I like Gronk on that show. You guys don't?
Yeah, I haven't seen. I was telling Blake earlier. I didn't watch any of it yesterday. It just seems like
in general, he throws out opinions.
Yeah, and the rest of the people won't.
He's all fun and grunky.
Yeah, I do like that. It's weird. There's just a lot of guys up there.
Yeah, it's a weird vibe.
Yeah,
it's very old.
What's her name? Just how many can we have up here?
Like I think
Lily Phillips.
Yeah,
he's like Draymond to me.
Thank you, Blake.
Like he's the new guy that's coming in, and like I think Draymond's going to be great on a set.
I think Draymond will be great on a set too. The difference is, I don't know how much of this they want from Draymond. I think people forget that guy is a basketball savant.
What do you mean, as far as
Draymond is an
X's
and O's Rain Man. Like defensively, he is the guy.
I think that's great.
So do I. Whereas Gronk, we've heard, was told, "Hey, Gronk, run here,
right?"
By Brady. So it's a little bit different of
Gronk
how
has
they
admitted.
executed.
I think like Brady would watch the film for me.
Right. But they both end up being very entertaining. I have one video to play. So we talked about Cooper Rush's incentives, and they wanted to get CD to 1,000 yards. It's cool to have the round numbers and whatnot, but I was really kind of taken aback by how much the Bucs celebrated with Mike Evans getting a meaningless catch in the end of their game against the Saints. Like it looks like the Super Bowl. He's got to 1,000 yards.
Mayfield throwing. Evans. He does it. Jerry Rice has company.
Well, did he get a big payout? A big financial bonus?
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, $3 million.
Oh, $3 million? It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It's just weird to like end a game.
And there was like 30 seconds left in a game
up by
that
8.
ended
You got
up
the
being
ball.
way
You're kneeling
too
the
close.
ball out.
Right. You could have thrown an interception.
Yeah.
They could have somehow lost that game.
Sure.
Wait, did Atlanta win?
No. Atlanta
Lost to Carolina.
Okay,
yeah.
so they would have been in no matter what.
Yeah, but it's time.
Yeah.
This is weird. I mean, he doesn't even like pick up a first down. They just complete a simple route off the line of scrimmage, and then the entire stadium goes bonkers. And the
$3
whole
million
team's
is
coming
$3
over.
million.
And then they line up for handshakes.
That's a lot of money, man.
It is a lot of money, and it's 11 straight. But it also resulted in a lot of Mike Evans Hall of Famer no talk yesterday, which I know Dan's a big fan of.
I am. It's really interesting. I think he's a really interesting case. Because he's not like Eli, you don't say, yes, but his numbers are the things that have to put him in. That's what you do with Mike Evans, correct?
Get the Super Bowl with Brady.
No, I'm just saying with Eli, you just have the Super Bowls. With Mike Evans, you certainly have the numbers.
Yeah.
But I always think of a Hall of Famer as I would think the minimum has to be you're one of the top 5 at your position at any given time. Or I would actually go two or three, yeah. Like never in a league in 1 year did someone say he is the 3rd best receiver in the game.
Well, maybe we were just wrong. Maybe he was, and we just don't notice because he plays there. I don't know. You're probably right.
I've always loved him. Big body.
Aggie.
Big Aggie.
I mean, if you're good, it starts with how swaggy that Johnny football team was. I mean, how could you not love him? Anything else? I don't know. Did you watch? If you watch any Steelers Bengals Saturday night, befuddling. I don't know if you saw what happened, but like they get the ball back, the Steelers, timeouts, down 2, and late in the game, Russ just scrambles and goes down in bounds, and they didn't call a timeout right away. Like Mike Tomlin, one of the more confusing guys in sports. Because you're always going to be pretty good. They haven't really done anything in the playoffs in forever. And a couple times a year, something happens that is very much the sort of thing that people around here would be like, you should be fired for that. But
so
they win
for
a lot
not,
of games.
For not calling the touch or the timeout?
Yeah, like first it was Russ's fault. I have no idea why he decided to take off and scramble there rather than just throw the ball away. But then once he did, you call a timeout. And they still almost were able to score and get it in there. And the other thing on the Bengals, I kind of thought the Chiefs would have a chance since they have Carson Wentz to somewhat keep it close. Obviously, they got destroyed. One thing I forgot about, I don't know how much this plays into a team's thinking. Kansas City definitely doesn't want Cincinnati in the postseason.
They're their kryptonite. Yeah.
So if they had any incentive to be like, look, why would we try to win this game and let Burrow back in? I didn't think of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
Oh, I did want to mention this on the Broncos. Do you guys remember how much shit Peyton was talking when he got hired? Like about Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, oh, yeah, there's a way they did things before.
Yeah.
You know, kind of did the all due respect, but those guys were clowns. And then in the first year, it looked like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should go back to Liberty Christian, wherever he was, with Russell Wilson. And then this year, he handpicks Bo Nix, and he plays great. He has completed his first 18 passes of the game. Bo Nix.
No, he's been really, really good the past 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the night game, you probably didn't stay up for the whole thing.
No,
you were
I
making
threatened
fun of
to.
me last week, yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah. Detroit just rolls.
Aaron Glenn trying to get himself a job.
Detroit not resting people. Well, obviously they're playing for the
bye.
You know, the number 1 seed in the bye, but it's really incredible that they are where they are with all the injuries they've had.
Crazy.
Dude, Dan Campbell's so great. So great.
Both, but they're probably about to get eagled, where
Like
both their coordinators get hired.
Yeah.
That's not but I believe in him, though.
Like, he looks the part. He's also kind of the inspirational guy for sure. You can look like a coach, but not necessarily. Like, Mike McCarthy looks like a coach. Don't know if he's inspirational.
But come on, dude. Mojo moment, a little Austin Powers reference. You guys will love that.
Watermelons.
But then he's also, you would think, okay, now, to me, he looks kind of like Witten as a head coach. But then he's also like he likes analytics like Mike McDaniel. You know? Like, he doesn't look like a guy, like Vrabel doesn't look like a guy that would be really into analytics.
And he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dan Campbell seems to be into it. He's into mentality. He's into we're going for it because of not only that is it good analytics, but it's the way we do things. Like, those players must be ready to die for that dude.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't think of many fan bases in recent memory that I'm happier for. I don't personally know many of them.
Personally.
Yeah, Campbell. For sure. For sure.
Seems like
it's
just
a breath
great
of fresh
dude.
air. He's not a dork.
Yeah.
He constantly makes me, as my coffee intake increases a little bit, it's just like with alcohol, right? Like, I know a guy who does 10 times
Yeah,
this.
I'm not that bad.
He's crushing it.
I don't have dip in while I drink this.
Yeah.
Dude, yes. He's justifies your
something
behavior.
for all of us.
Yeah. All right, let's take a little break. If you're on YouTube, we'll be gone for a few minutes. And if you are listening later, well, we'll see you in just a couple of seconds.
The Dumb Zone.
So, it's time for a new vehicle. Sure, you can take a day of PTO and head over to the local dealership for a chat with Hank, or you can head on over to fairlease.org from the convenience of your home and start shopping for the vehicle that you want. Tell us the most important features for your family. We'll give you unbiased information on the best lease vehicles in the market. So it's up to you. Go to the dealership and buy it for 40 to 50% more, or reach out to us. We'll do all the work and get you the lowest haggle-free price you can get stress-free. Experience the Fair Lease difference today.
So I need to plug this in for it to work?
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Is that what you guys are saying?
Yeah.
So our watching party didn't happen on this past Sunday, but it will next week. And we have a checklist every week when we're doing the football watch parties. Big screen TV, comfortable seating, and, of course, Tito's handmade vodka. Tito's, America's favorite vodka for a reason. Will you hand me that bottle? I'd like to hold a bottle of Tito's. It would make me feel good holding that bottle.
I feel like you'll improve for the rest of the show.
While reading the spot Tito's is a spirit that knows how to focus on what's important. That's why it comes in a standard bottle with a modest paper label. So all you pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right, naturally gluten-free, and mixes with just about anything from the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. We're excited to be associated with a brand like Tito's because not only are they known for great vodka, but for giving back by teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people, after all. Find your new favorite cocktail with Tito's by visiting Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Distilled from corn. Copyright 2025. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Don't want me.
So what do we have from Jerry Jones post-game? Is that what we're doing now, or do you have some stuff from the locker room?
Well, hold on. Let me set the table for a couple things.
All right.
We're very aware that Skip Bayless tried to pay a hairstylist $1.5 million to have sex with him, and when she rebuffed that because she said, "Skip, you're married," he responded, "Isn't your dad Muslim? He's got like 4 wives."
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's one of the funniest stories. Very quick on his feet, that Skip.
Mm-hmm.
One of the funniest stories we've had in a while, but we're going to have to do it tomorrow. So, behind the paywall and all. We'll play the video of Emmanuel Acho that's now been deleted from 2 years ago where he was talking about Joy Taylor and seemingly smelling his finger.
So it's going to be such good content, we're going to make it exclusive.
That's right. And I also, I feel like notably absent from your weekend check.
Oh, no.
Was how are you and the boy vibing?
The boy?
The potential new member of the McDowell clan.
Oh, the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to hear all about it. Yeah.
Yes, please.
What's he into? What does he think of the show? I met the young man.
You did?
Yeah. I came over here for a little planning sesh one day, and he didn't make fun of me. It's surprising. They don't all do it. It appears some of them actually just look at you like,
so you don't want me to tell you now?
You're a normal person. No.
Okay.
I don't. That's teasing ahead for tomorrow. Because we have more Cowboys to sort through. Yeah, Blake, why don't you go first? Pick a couple for today.
Oh, let's see. Let's do McCarthy stuff.
Sure.
Obviously,
football.
It was funny. He goes into his post-game expecting to talk about the game, but every question is, are you going to be back? Do you think you should be back?
Then he expected the wrong thing.
So,
yeah, I don't even buy that.
No.
Well,
I thought we were going to talk about football.
I think Clarence asked a question about the game first, but then our buddy Tim kicks it off in a good way.
He's looking for Brad.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Sporting News. Do you feel like your body of work after 5 years suggests you should be back for another year?
Well, I've a lot of confidence in myself as a head coach, but I think like anything, body of work, the statistics. I think it's more about the program, the details of what needs to be done. How can we get better? All those things go into these decisions of whether you originally get the job or continue to move forward. So. I'm definitely in a position with Jerry to move the program forward. I mean, there's no question about that in my mind. So that's why these conversations need to happen here in the near future.
I find that interesting that he's actually even answering it. Like he's negotiating in the press here.
Right.
Look at the stats.
That's behind closed door stuff. But he's like, yeah, that and not just the stats, because we all can see my record.
Right.
But it's the program. It's the way things are moving. It's like he wants to remind Jerry publicly, which is very interesting to me.
And if you remember last year, I think people were calling for his head after the Packers playoff game, and I think there was some uncertainty with Jerry.
There's no food down there.
And remember, it came down to a meeting with Jerry and McCarthy where McCarthy basically gave him all the reasons why he should come back for his final year, and Jerry let him. So Unfortunately, that's a weird time to be negotiating through the press of like, hey, yeah, I think I'm deserving of this job. But unfortunately, that comes with the territory of working with Jerry Jones where that stuff might matter.
It's all weird. It's weird that Dak gets asked about it, and Dak feels like he needs to weigh in to put a little pressure on Jerry to remind him that, hey, his opinion counts too. Jerry's been asked about it every week for the last 2 months.
And honestly, these questions for McCarthy have been waiting for weeks.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for the season to end. Now, the funny thing, though, is each reporter has their own spin on the same question are you going to be back next year? But everyone wants to say, what have you learned through this? Do you want to be back? Do you think they have their own question written down? And so he's asked the same question 4, 5, or 6 times.
I'm sure he loves it.
And he got kind of tired of it towards the end. To me, he went kind of full Ricky Bobby here.
To come back here after your contract expires.
I understand why you ask the questions. I don't like to talk about myself that way, but I'll just be clear. I'm a winner. I know how to win. I've won a championship. I won a championship in this building, and that's who I am. So, and we'll see where it goes.
Dang. Red-blooded winning machine.
That was pretty hardcore for McCarthy.
Now, there's minutes and minutes of build-up.
Oh, there must have been a couple other that were won in this building. Huh. Me? Just me. It's weird.
I thought it was great.
Like, throwing that in there is about as aggressive as I've heard him be on that floor.
Yeah, never.
And his tone when he says it.
Because a guy that he's 174 and 112. It's a great record.
It's much better than Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, and
much
but
better.
I mean, Belichick has that kind of record too, but he wouldn't say that. You don't have to say it if you are.
Yeah, maybe you only have to say it because you're dealing with Jerry.
Listen to his tone.
To come back here after your contract expires.
I understand why you ask the questions. I don't like to talk about myself that way, but I'll just be clear. I'm a winner. I know how to win. I've won a championship. I won a championship in this building, and
won a championship in this building.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty aggressive.
So one more thing for McCarthy. Some people are saying, well, the offense kind of sucked. Would you consider hiring an OC that called plays?
Coach, to be the head coach, do you feel like you have to be the primary play caller?
I don't think that's I think like anything, I think you have to look at the whole picture. I think, I look at what helps us, what gives us the best, chance to win on Sundays. And when I'm old-fashioned. I still write up the job descriptions, still write up the job.
Fast forward 30 seconds. No. If I'm here, I'm calling plays.
Yeah, that's where they put themselves in a bit of a tough spot here. You'd rather still have that option on the table to keep him around.
But
you don't.
But then it's the Kellen thing all over again. It's not his offense.
Yeah, but they were good.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good last year too.
So he's 12th all time in NFL victories. Sean Payton.
You guys get to watch Rain Man at work.
Sean Payton is 16th. Harbaugh is 14th. John Harbaugh, that is.
His resume is very similar to Sean Payton's.
Tomlin is 11th. Andy Reid 4th. If all those guys are free, like what's the pecking order there? Where does he fit in if he's a free agent? Like if Mike Tomlin's a free agent, does another team hire him?
Yeah. I would say all
Andy
of them.
Reid?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like who gets hired quicker? And I would suggest Mike McCarthy would be hired last amongst that list I just mentioned.
Probably. But maybe it's because he doesn't do that well with PR, and now he's realizing he needs to. Because Sean Payton, you don't have to ask him how great he is. He'll tell you.
So Micah was asked in the post game, hey, do you think your head coach should be back?
Going in and talking about contracts, obviously Coach McCarthy, Coach Zimmer, everybody on expiring contracts. Would you like to make it clear now? Do you want them back, and what would that mean to you for them to come back?
I learned a long time it's not about what I want. In this business, I'm not the owner. I'm not the GM. I'm part of the entertainment. they got to decide they want me back. So that's you asking the wrong question to the wrong guy, to be honest.
Interesting. So all right. So yeah, I learned already. It's not what I want.
Okay.
Parentheses. I wanted Dan Quinn to be the head coach.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that this has changed from like 3 weeks ago.
He
where
learned
he was
from that
saying,
too.
Yeah, he was saying, I want Mike McCarthy back.
Well, he said that after being
6 weeks ago.
Yeah, whenever he focused on Zach Martin and
He said
everybody
Zach
got
Martin's
mad at
more
him for
important
that.
to me than Mike McCarthy.
It is funny, though, because really nothing has changed other than Quinn leaving. So it's clear that when he says, well, I guess what I want doesn't really matter, he just means McCarthy being there, right? He's like, yeah, that's. I kind of made it known I didn't want that.
Yeah.
That didn't change.
And especially after yesterday's game, he's looking over there.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at Dan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
He's all Dan Quinn-y.
Yeah.
He's all cool. His hat's backwards.
Now, Mike Zimmer is nailing a chick almost half his age.
But I thought that part was funny because all the players are asked post-game, what would it mean to you to bring McCarthy back? Oh, it'd mean the world. I love him. This locker room didn't quit for him. Mike is like, don't ask me.
I don't know.
I
just dance.
So here's this will check a box with Dan. They ask him about just the team rallying around McCarthy at the end of the year, and we get the check mark of the team didn't quit, and so he says he's proud of their effort, and then he also answers about Mike Zimmer.
When you think about the second half of this season, what did you learn most about Mike McCarthy? What about the way he led his team?
I would say, I would say he didn't give up. That really
kept coming in every day.
I understand he's fighting to be back and to be a part of this unit still, but no, just staying in locked in every day, not giving up on the guys, taking what he's gotten between quarterbacks, the running back situation, O-line situation, and got innovative and tried to make the best of his situations.
What would it mean to you to have Zim back?
If I got Zim back, awesome. I think Zim I want to come back. I told you, I think, he's ready to ride off in the sunset. To him, it's not even about money anymore. I think he got to want to do it, but, he's my guy. We're going to have dinner next week. We said we're going to have dinner before I head off on my off-season adventures. But, man, if he comes back and the conversation is right and he gets compensated right, because the way he's held up, missing out corners, missing D linemen and did his thing, he's definitely earned the opportunity himself.
Doesn't sound like he's coming back.
No, not at all.
No, he's got a marriage to tend to now.
Yeah.
I also like again, I'm hyper focused on this, so maybe I'm making something out of nothing. But when Micah says like, yeah, he kind of had to deal with what he had with as far as the running back situation, he means like this old fuck that they brought back in here to mope around. And by the way, I guess this is obvious, but I was looking at it this morning and. The Zeke stopped caring and Zeke stopped getting touches are just when Dak got hurt. Like, he did have 6 in the one game after that where he had the fumble. I think it might have been Philly. It was Cooper Rush's first start. And from there, he never had more than, it was 1, 2, 3. It was about 1.5 carries a game. So whether Dak was fighting for him and advocating for him every week, or it just felt like, oh, look, Dak's there, his buddy's there, they're going to give him 6, 7, 8 carries a game. It pretty much stopped when Dak got hurt, which I found interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I'll give you a little bit
let me do a couple more.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So apparently Jerry spoke to the team post-game.
Yes.
And this is from our buddy Jordan Lewis, who kind of indicates that McCarthy's going to be back.
How emotional was the locker room and Jerry talking, obviously, and Mike talks?
I mean, he just really stamped Coach Mike. Honestly, that he's definitely, it's a good chance of him coming back, and we're excited for that because we wanted another shot at this because Coach McCarthy gave me a second chance, on my second contract. So I mean, I'll always be grateful for him, and hopefully, we can see if that's reciprocated.
So in front of the team, it seems like he's going to bring McCarthy
It's
back.
blowing that way for sure. All indications. All the reports, all the vibes.
That Diana Rossini?
Yeah.
Somebody from The Athletic reported that kind of last week.
Yeah. It all worked. Troy, Dak, the full court press they put on.
So I'll leave you with this. I think McCarthy had a plant in his post-game press conference. Now, we call this like the Brad Sham effect, where it's like, okay, Lucky Whitehead's arrest. Well, tell me about how Zach Martin's playing right now. There's always a redirect to football. And I think McCarthy had one. And, the first few questions were about McCarthy's future. Then in comes Plant.
Those components in place to get this thing where it needs to be. And I think we have a very good foundation there.
Elwin Henderson, Gilmere. Mike, your thoughts on Trey Lance? He had a great game today.
Yeah, I thought Trey played well today.
Did he?
He did not have a great game. He did play well. Where did that guy say he was from?
I had a hard time picking up. I mean, he's been there all year, but
I recognize the voice.
Elwin Henderson, Gilmere. Mike, your thoughts on Trey Lance? He had a great game today.
And then things were picking up steam again with his future in doubt. This is from later in the press conference.
This is an incredible fan base.
Well, Mike, certainly 7-10 is not what you anticipated when the season began, but you look at all of the major injuries that you had. Do you look back now and think what could have been?
Hold on, there's an act here.
Able to stay healthy?
I'm still stuck on 7-10. That just knocked me over. Yeah, this doesn't sound right. What happens regardless of the record.
I need you to bring up the injuries. No one's talking about the injuries and how I couldn't win with a backup quarterback.
That was weird.
7-10. It just doesn't really resonate because I'm the 12th most winning head coach of all time.
Ray Stone Jr. in there.
Just a winner.
So I'll play you a little bit of Jerry stuff from the post game. This is something that just happens, and it's frustrating if you're on one end of it, but it's also kind of funny. There's really no decorum. Well, there's a decorum, but there's no real written rules on how to ask questions in press conferences and gangbangs. Unless you're at like a big one like the Tyson fight and you have to submit and then they call on you, that can happen. But for the most part, it's just who's going to start talking whenever the subject stops talking. So this is funny because I have a few clips here where one of our good friends got caught up in this. The first question to Jerry is referencing a comment he made on The Fan on Friday where the basic question was, is there anything that could happen this weekend that would alter the way you're thinking about the coaching staff? And he went with the hay is already in the barn. So that's not to say that he's already made a decision to keep him or not, I guess, but to say that all the information that he needs to make that decision has already been gathered. Did you just mute me?
No.
When you said Friday that the hay is in the barn about McCarthy and the coaches, does that mean, have you made up your mind on Mike McCarthy?
No. Well, the point is that all that I'm going to look at, I was answering that question, and that was, does the outcome of this game really impact his future? And I said no. All of the things I'll consider are hays in the barn.
All right, so now here's an interesting follow-up.
Report came out that you want McCarthy back, but maybe others in the building don't. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I again, at the risk of talking about something that I don't want to talk about at this time, and we've got a lot of work to do, but certainly we're all looking for ways to get better.
Hold on. Notice, he didn't really answer that question. He didn't say, no, we're all on the same page, or no, we're all pulling in the same direction. He just kind of skated on that one.
Certainly we're all looking for ways to get better.
5 years ago, with 22 rushes.
Okay. Right there at the end, you hear our friend Saad try to start his question.
What was he trying?
Get better.
5 years ago, with 22
So he started with 5 years ago, right? Let's keep this press conference going.
And so you really got some improvement there, really, that I give Rush Chris a lot of credit for.
Jerry, 5 years ago with... Why not just see Trey Lance a game earlier?
Well...
Okay, didn't get it in there. Let's keep going.
He did really earn some pretty serious incentives this year.
5 years ago with...
Trey Lance. Excuse me. I thought he really played well.
By time three.
Did he ever get it?
Well, we'll get to that. So there's a thing that Bob and Dan used to call the punchline in meetings. We would have meetings every day before the show, and if you had pitched something and it kept not getting on that day's show, you just stop. You're like, all right, this is becoming a punchline. Like maybe we're not actually going to get, Michelle Tafoya today or whatever, or we're not going to talk about this documentary. Like you feel sheepish continuing to bring it up. I feel like if you try 3 times with a question and you get the first 4 to 6 words out each time, you are dangerously close to scrapping it and starting over. You know what I mean? And Sod is 18 inches from Jerry's face. So Jerry's heard him start this question 3 times, you know? And finally, Sod's like, F it.
Today against this team, wanted to take a good look at Lance.
Jerry, 5 years ago with Jason Garrett, the way that situation played out for a week, were you happy with the way that process went? Were you satisfied with that?
Well,
it's a good question, right? But listen to how little hang time there is between Jerry and Sod this time.
Wanted to take a good look at Lance.
Jerry, 5 years ago with Jason Garrett, the way that...
He's like, look, no chance.
That's good persistence.
We're getting this question in. I thought that was funny. And then this is kind of an interesting thing to get us into some McCarthy talk, some today, some tomorrow. They're discussing, like, there's a window where McCarthy and Dallas can negotiate exclusively. And then past that window, he could still be back, but he can talk to other teams.
I've had coaches under contract that I thought we might consider a change, and they were thinking maybe a change under contract. So this business of under or out of contract is not an influencer with me at all.
You're not concerned about other teams?
Well, but that's I wouldn't want a coach here that want to be someplace else.
So if a guy's like, hey, I'd like to interview for other jobs to make sure I have one, you're like, oh, you want to work somewhere else and we don't even want you. I don't think he actually would follow through on that, but that's like the dumbest business decision I can possibly imagine someone making. Like, oh, you want to work for
I mean, the thought is, if indeed your mind is made up that I want him, then why are we doing this now?
Right.
Why would you even let him go out somewhere? If you think he's that good, that I want to give him guaranteed money for another 5 years here.
Or whatever amount.
Why haven't they been talking about it? So I pick it up there where I listened to the last half of the Jerry gangbang after the game because they're talking McCarthy contract. Let's see how this starts.
Most of the fans that I have, most of the fans want everybody to be on the incentive plan.
Okay, that's where we're going to lead into this. Talking about maybe an incentive-based contract. Like, that'd be better for a coach.
Most of the fans that I have, most of the fans want everybody to be on the incentive plan. Everybody wants it to be on the incentive plan. And so the more you can have the incentive plan, to me, the better you've got the way sports is aligned with sports. And
Okay, I kind of know what he's saying. Like, you are rewarded for doing well and winning. That's how sports works, and that's how ultimately sports can be most aligned with sports. Yeah.
Yeah. But if we're doing things based on what most fans want,
and incentives.
So fans want incentive plans. I would guess most fans want me to remain general manager of this team and make every move.
There it is. It's like Putin running for president or something. He's like, oh my, 99%
voted. Yeah,
did it again.
Incentive plan. To me, the better you've got the way sports is aligned with sports and a goal of having accomplishment, and you align that with the financial end of it. For instance, I might say, look, I'm going to pay you this much, but then I'll pay you not any more, and I know you want twice that. But if you get to the playoffs or you win a Super Bowl, I'll give you 5 times that.
But the guy across the street might
Bam.
say, I'm going to give it to you without any escalators.
Exactly, and then you've got a decision. For sure.
But how can he know that if he's not allowed to talk to you until January 14th?
Then I would say, go talk. I really would.
Okay.
Go talk.
So it sounds like you
I
will
just
allow
let
him to
Zeke
talk.
do that.
Gotcha.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I don't want anybody here. That's not healthy to have somebody around that wants to be someplace else. Really, it's not.
So back to what you were just playing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk. Because if you want to go there, then that's the thing. Like, you don't really value him. you don't really value head coach overall. And we're going to get to more of that, I guess, as he keeps talking about this stuff.
It's called tolerance for ambiguity.
What?
The highest, no, exactly. The example is the Mississippi riverboat gambler. He's his most charming. He's his most glib. He's his cleverest. When on the next card, he could get thrown overboard, or on the next card on the boat. That's when he's the best. If you put someone like that and he knows for sure what's going to happen at the end of the night, you won't see his full potential to go. So you've got to have a tolerance for ambiguity to be on the incentive plan. Those that have it are war daddies in a lot of ways.
You have your list ready.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Just all of it. And as you pointed out, it is hilarious that he is saying, like, that's what true men are made out of.
Right.
But he's not really subjected to that at all.
They don't feel it. They're not upset at this or that.
You have your list ready.
Did you follow that?
I think so.
Well, I'll clear it up for you if you want to. Okay, but go back and look at it. But the point is, some people work better. Some people don't. Some people have to know that they want the check at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then that's pretty much what I got from the McCarthy talk. I suppose I could say, you know what, I'll save this other stuff. He talks about he's defining all in again.
Oh, good. Good.
And then we're going to get
That's going to be the motto next season, too.
Yeah, but the motto next season, really, he already kind of started this. I can't remember if it was Friday or whatever, but I promise you it's going to be this. All the experience that these guys gained this year by being thrown into the fire, they're just that much better than they would have been had they not played. And then you come and just add guys who were hurt to that. So Cooper Beebe, what a steal. You got a starter right there. Tyler Guyton got his bad year out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Guyton. DeMarvion Overshone, even though we don't know if he'll ever walk again, a lot of tread on those tires. Still hasn't played many games, right? Dak, what happened last time he got hurt? Came back, he was great. It's going to be about growth from within and how they're really well positioned to take that next step because all these guys were thrown to the fire.
I mean, you're going to get DeMarcus Lawrence back, maybe. I guess you'd have to sign him. But
I could see Lawrence and Martin both being gone, but Sam Williams was hurt. Sam Williams is so poised to take over for DeMarcus Lawrence opposite Micah Parsons. That guy was killing it when he was healthy. That's basically a draft pick or a free agent signing right there.
And Trayvon and Deron Bland really didn't play together this season.
Barely at all.
So that's like two players back right
Bring back Jordan Lewis and you're set right there. That's what it's going to be. It's funny because I was thinking about that this morning, wrote a column for the D Magazine sports page. They just were like, hey, when we wrap up the season, it's not like they wanted to write about the Week 18 game. But it was interesting because it was something I've been thinking about over the last couple weeks. And then Jerry made an appearance on Taylor Sheridan's Landman.
Awesome.
Over the weekend, which we played a clip from before. It's the Texas-based show about the oil and gas industry. It stars Billy Bob Thornton. John Hamm is in it. In the pilot, they're at a spring game because that's what people do in Texas, where his daughter's talking to him about
high school, right?
Yeah, high school.
A high school spring game.
Yeah, is talking to him about what she does with her boyfriend. Couple other viral clips that have gone viral. Billy Bob Thornton talking to some liberal arts libtard in a field about how wind power's gay or something. I don't know. It turns out everything he was saying was kind of not true, but it sounded great because it was Billy Bob Thornton with sunglasses in a field. And I have no idea the backstory or the context of what happened on this week's episode, but somehow John Hamm, I gather is like Billy Bob Thornton's business partner in some way. Do either one of you know anything about this? John Hamm does?
John Hamm owns the oil company.
So he's in bed he's in a hospital bed sick, and Billy Bob is over there. And Jerry is in the room at the bedside, and he is playing Jerry. Very active in oil and gas, Comstock, when he's taking a break from blockchain com. And so he starts giving this speech. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Play it.
Yeah, we're not going to play the video because we want to keep doing a stream. He starts doing this speech, and throughout it, he starts tearing up. And, of course, we know Jerry and Taylor Sheridan have a thing. Of course they do. Taylor Sheridan and the cast of Yellowstone have been at a bunch of games. One of their scheduled release party videos was Yellowstone themed, remember?
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense. The Jones family, they own a ranch, their country, whatever. It makes all the sense in the world. So he's given like this impassioned speech, and I thought it was really timely and telling for where the Cowboys are.
My daughter, when I was in
Pause.
my 30s, went.
By the way, there was a band when I was younger, maybe they're still around, called Explosions in the Sky.
Yeah.
And they make instrumental music, and it's incredible. I saw them live a couple times in Austin. It will put you. It's very, very good. It's very emotional music.
Very Friday Night Lights.
Well, I think it became a thing with Friday Night Lights. When Friday Night Lights, the movie, came out, and probably the TV show too, the background in every scene is either Explosions in the Sky or a ripoff of that. And now Landman and a lot of Taylor Sheridan shows do the same. You'll hear it immediately.
My daughter, when I was in my 30s, went to school at Stanford. I couldn't stand it. She was so far from Arkansas. So I'd think of reasons to make trips out there, try to come up with a little business or something. I go out there with her. I get an old office downtown Palo Alto. Jean goes to class with her. I said, I need to get some things going out here if I'm going to spend this kind of time. So I went over to Brentwood, about 20 or 30 miles from San Francisco. And I bought about 25 lots, like I was going to build 25 houses. Except I drilled 4 gas wells. And those 4 gas wells in 18 months paid me enough money for me to buy the Dallas Cowboys. Paying attention to my kids actually led to me getting involved into the passion of my life. And all along, what I was trying to do is hang out near my daughter. A lot of things happened that you didn't have planned or don't have the strategy for. Hey, Tom. Now, I'm not saying I've done anything right, but I made my mind up a long time ago I was going to work with my kids. They're involved in everything. They're involved in my leasing, oil and gas, real estate. And so when I got to Cowboys, I got it so that we could all work together. I thought I was doing it for them. But the one that got the most out of it was me.
Okay, pause it. At this point, he's really... I don't know that Jerry is capable of tearing up without meaning it. Maybe he is.
He's choked up. It looks like he's going to cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is choked up as if he's...
like deep in thought about his family and his
I
legacy
believe that's where
and his
he
life,
is.
And he's
Yeah.
80 and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe maybe somebody else wrote this and he took a look at it and was like, I want to say it like this. But this is just the type of speech Jerry would give if you did a living funeral for him right now.
Like, I thought he was very good.
Yeah.
In this show.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him on... whatever, Arliss or
kinda,
Entourage before, and it's not been like this.
It's
but
crazy
this
how
one,
versatile he is. Like I think he's doing.
He's getting deep.
He's replacing The Rock in the new Fast and Furious.
Didn't you say he was with
the Sydney Sweeney?
Sydney Sweeney,
yeah,
rom-com
2026. I think is when they're.
Yeah, he's playing Mike Zimmer, and she's playing an Instagram.
Okay.
I thought I was doing it for them. But the one that got the most out of it was me. I just know it's not going to be this time, but you're going to be sitting here sometime in the future, laying here sometime in the future.
Little ad-lib.
And this room's going to be full of your business associates and the people you've worked with all your life. And more than likely, your children and family are going to be there because they're your children and your family. But you could have them there because they're the people you spent your life with, you worked with, you fell down with, you got up with. Not just Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's who you want to be with. So when that time comes like this, it's a celebration of your life, and you're not wishing you'd spend a little more time seeing a few more sons come up. That's the trick. That's the trick. Because that's going to be your glory. But I'm pretty proud of them Cowboys. I'm pretty proud of the stuff we've done in oil and gas. It pales in comparison to how proud I am to have lived my life working with my kids. You got a chance to do something about that. I hope you will. And I'll tell you, young man, you're no spring chicken. And you ought to listen to little Liz yourself.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm a few eggs short of a spring chicken, that's for sure.
Think a lot of both of you guys.
Feelings mutual, thank you, Jerry.
Okay, don't make me get my rubber glove out.
Boy, tell Jeannie I said hi.
Good to see you, Mr. Jones. He's done it wrong. You need to get those leases together. That's...
Okay, well, so that's the scene. Jerry speaking as Jerry, feeling emotional and feeling as if he's Jerry. You know how we've always said the deal where he'll mention, hey, I don't know how much longer I have left. And we always think that it means that they're going to start running the team in some sort of Jerry's got to get a Super Bowl before he dies. That's it. That would be the storybook ending. He's got to get another Super Bowl in these next 5-6 years. I mean, he's 82. But then it occurred to me, that's not what it's about at all. It's a family business. We all know people who run family businesses. How many times is a family business, 3-4 decades of running it with the matriarch or the patriarch in charge, how often do they say, hey, I know I want to leave this to my kids, but before I do, I'm going to start doing some really risky stuff that could pay off, but it also could leave them in a bad spot. The goal for Jerry is not to increase the chances that he gets another Super Bowl before he goes. The goal is to make sure that when he goes, this thing is always relevant, good enough, and he hands something functional off to Steven and Charlotte and Jerry Jr. They're not going to be in insane cap hell. They're not going to be looking for a new head coach who hasn't won anything and they got to figure that out on their own. That's not what people do with family businesses. They either sell it or they hand it to their kids with it running as smoothly and profitably as in good shape as possible. And that's why they're not going to go routinely making big splash trades that, you know, hell, the Amari one worked out, and I'm still not sure they view that as a success. Because they're like, the cap, though, that did end up being a cap problem. That's why they're not going to go hire Mike McDaniel or whoever hotshot, change the league, take it by storm coach. They're not going to do any of that because this might be the last contract Jerry signs for a head coach. He could die tomorrow, and he knows that. It's not going to be with freaking Lincoln Riley as the head coach.
What's going to make it to where you can go into work and things will be the most kind of like they are now?
Yeah. Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott.
And that was the mindset with Garrett, too. He probably thought, hey, man, I'm 75. Right.
They were winning games. They were getting into playoffs every once in a while. I mean, McCarthy, those 36 wins in 3 years, that's the second most in the NFL. And Jerry and Steven used the term, hey, we're hanging around the rim. We hadn't dunked it or we haven't completed the shot, but we're hanging around the rim. That's all you can ask for. I mean, he said it again last night. Hey, you get to the Super Bowl by winning a lot of games, and we win a lot of games. So once you change your perspective from like, boy, Jerry's probably horny to win again before he croaks, and think of it as they just want to always be a team that you're probably talking about in December, that's what he wants for his kids too, because what that does is makes a ton of money.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave it to them like when he bought them.
Right.
They were becoming irrelevant. They were not selling out every game.
Yeah.
And that kind of needed a splash.
Right. But once
that needed a Jimmy hire. That needed a complete overhaul. This doesn't
a trade.
He did recognize at one point. He's like, this needs a complete overhaul. This needs something weird. This needs me going and hiring Parcells. This is not what I want to do, but I'm going to do it because I have to do it to get us back to where we should be. And now we're where we should be. This is cool.
Yes.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Because if you go too far the other way, yes, it could be too much of a risk. I think Steven was in the news headlines recently for
the Eagles.
It was the Eagles because people were going back to what he said about the Rams a couple years ago.
Oh, I didn't really put that together.
Do you remember the Rams a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah.
He was like, you just can't do this. You can't set – well, the Rams are back in the playoffs.
After winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs and the Cowboys are not, is the point.
Yeah. But he learned from his dad.
No, that's good good analysis of that. I didn't really even – I walked away from that thinking he's kind of a good actor.
He is a good actor.
But he's not acting.
He's not really acting.
But
He's good on screen, but yeah, he's not really acting.
But I also was wondering about his, he wants to portray himself as Father of the Year, and certainly the fact that he's able to line his kids up with jobs and everything. As a guy with a kid who has graduated college, I'd like to line her up with a job. I'd love to be able to do that, but I can't.
Blake, now I know why Blake's nervous around him.
Around those kids? Oh, yeah. Where could they fit in? I don't know.
I don't know. To me, they seem way more host material than producers, so maybe I should be the one worried.
But anyway, I wondered how.
Yeah.
Also, he's saying I'm like Father of the Year because I wanted to spend more time with Charlotte, so I would go. Okay, so when I go visit my daughter at Clemson, we plan to do some things together. We when he goes to visit his daughter, he's like, what kind of business transaction could I – I'm buying 25 lots. I'm drilling for oil. He didn't see her at all.
Yeah, you're probably right. I guess I'm going to be less cynical.
And that's why he's a billionaire and I'm not.
Anytime that it can be
that's
both.
Why.
Anytime you wanted to mix
IHOP.
in – yeah, where are you making – were you at least doing some crypto trading or something at IHOP?
Yeah.
See, what I thought you were going to say is that because I do think that he has an amazing relationship with his kids. It's crazy for them to still be as tight as they are with all the stuff and conflict they have to deal with. It's crazy.
Yeah, but wouldn't you?
Man,
if Chappie had $1 billion, aren't you over there?
Dude, but there's a lot of
on
people
your knees all the time.
There's
bruv?
a lot of people who still end up sideways with their family. And, maybe they end up, legally they're going to get some part of it here, but they just don't talk. There are rich people who do not talk to their kids, parents, vice versa. What I thought you were going to say was, does seem like a great dad to them. You may recall that the opening press conference of training camp was delayed by a couple days as he was in court for a paternity suit.
Again, though, even that, I told you I'd like to be that girl.
And he's also trying to not allow her into the will, so he's actually on their side. Because if he said, yep, she's mine, come on, that's 15%, then yeah, they wouldn't be happy. He's fighting for them.
They did actually have to move a press conference. That was this year.
They did.
You may recall. So anyways, 12th pick.
12th pick. Want to do some news?
Sure.
Here's Jay.
I'm glad you said yes. I had no other thing to do.
Yeah, so like I said, I did spend a pretty sad amount of time reading about Matthew Livelsberger this weekend. He's the young man, the Green Beret, the active Army serviceman who blew up a Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas. Or did he?
Okay, tell me about it. I don't know anything about it.
Well, you get your normal conspiracy stuff of slowing down the video and because people say that he shot himself too.
Huh.
And people are breaking it down no way. There's no way that he got that shot off. He's still alive in this portion. That stuff doesn't interest me as much as there is a guy named Sean Ryan who did not create the shield.
That part doesn't interest you?
It interests me in the sense that I believe I have been seeing quotes, comments, or content from the podcaster and veteran Sean Ryan for years and being like, that's kind of a weird swerve for the FX guy, but whatever. It's two guys. It's been two guys.
So you thought it was the Shield guy all these
Kind of made sense, right? He's like interviews with Special Forces guys. I don't know. Sean Ryan did some military show stuff, if I recall, and the Shield's all law enforcement-y, and don't know. But apparently Sean Ryan, the podcaster, is a big deal, at least in the veteran community. He's got 3.5 million subbies on YouTube.
That's where we went wrong.
We weren't in the military?
We should have been a veteran podcast.
Man. Can we do that? Pivot?
Maybe.
Are you a veteran? Okay, he just
threw his headset on.
Following this the story quite a bit.
I would like your input.
Yeah.
So he's a former Navy SEAL, the podcaster, Sean Ryan. He's a former CIA contractor, special ops, does not consulting, but like he's a contributor with some of the cable news channels. So he does this podcast, and he'll have analysts, ex-analysts from the CIA or from DOJ on, and they'll talk about like future threats. Like, hey, what are we looking at? What are people talking about? They both have they have a lot of relationships with people who are still in the field, both still undercover and not. So we'll have people like that on his show. And last week he had a guy on his show, Sam Shoemate, I believe is his name. He's another guy who lives in this intelligence world. Like he's ex-CIA, he's ex-Marine, and he's got basically this is the same way The Rock knew Bin Laden was about to get iced. Remember that? These guys all talked to each other, and he knew because he had trained with the SEALs or whatever.
And this is just basically like the Department of Defense's which penny stock will hit $100.
Yeah.
It's all like, this could happen.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for this. And so he's one of these guys.
Yeah. And so in this case.
Was this because of 9/11? We should have seen this was a did this industry.
That probably did, yeah.
Balloon,
Yeah.
All these that's really obvious. We should have realized that.
No
would
more
be
black
easy.
swans? Yeah. So Sean Ryan does this podcast on Friday with this Sam Shoemate guy. And again, if I'm getting the name wrong, whatever.
So conspiracy stuff is popular.
Oh, huge.
We've talked earlier. Rogan, this guy.
Alex Jones.
That's what we need to do.
A conspiracy veteran podcast.
Yeah.
That shows Shaft.
You get
that
Soroy.
shows Wiener Shaft.
Soroy's a veteran. He could that could
Soroy
be his
is a veteran.
Contributor right there.
Yeah. I've been arrested. It's basically
Great.
a prisoner of war.
I've shown Shaft.
We're on to something. You've got the misogyny thing pretty well covered with that whole Christina Pink thing. Like, well, we should just show her whole tit.
It's not misogyny.
So this guy does this podcast where he has an associate in the intelligence world on, right? And that guy comes on and says, basically like, holy hell, I'm pretty sure that the Green Beret that they're saying did this while he was on leave, I think he'd been contacting me. He'd been contacting me on my Instagram page. And then on, is it Telegram? Is that what they're? Signal.
Signal, yeah.
The, supposedly encrypted app that you can use for communication that the government can't get to. And.
Supposedly.
Okay. What do you think?
No, you said it like.
Well, they can't verify it, but this
Okay.
guy's posting these emails and saying, like, hey, these are what this guy sent me. Here's what he's talking about. Here's how he said he proved it was him. Like, hey, just so you know, the first car I ever bought was an 06 Mustang. Because, sometimes that'll be a question on, a security thing. That's a weird thing to know, to have researched and figured out if you're trying to purport to be this person. So somebody was talking to this Sam Shoemate guy. Either the guy who blew up the truck or a guy pretending to be the guy who blew up the truck. One of the two things is true. And if it's the latter and it's, all some weird red herring done by civilian, government, not sure for whatever reason, it's very, very elaborate. Like, the guy has extremely specific details. He goes into, in these emails, an incident that he was involved in Afghanistan in 2019 where he was basically, on command for airstrikes, and they just slaughtered a village, hundreds of civilians, or at least it looks like 100 civilians. and it was covered up. And he's like, I was a part of covering that up. Here's the DEA agent I worked with. The DEA's involved because it was near a poppy field. It was a poppy field operation. Here's the CIA operative I worked with. Their names are redacted in this report that was released. But if you go cross-check that with actual reporting on that incident, it did happen and it was covered up. There was an attack in 2019 where they killed dozens and dozens of civilians and they tried to cover it up. He also claims to have knowledge of what was happening with those goddamn drones in New Jersey. This is where it gets real interesting.
Yes.
He's like, hey, that is he uses the term like gravitic propulsion or something that I'd never heard before, but that's no surprise. Basically saying like these anti-gravity drones, China has them, they're using them, we have them, and we're trying to test the capability. Like this is a new level of human warfare that they're testing out, and they cannot let anybody know about it. And he's saying, I was aware of that. I was involved in that. I know about it, and I want you, Sam Shoemate, this guy, he's like, I want to get you this info. I think they had a mutual friend. I need you to get this to Sean Ryan because apparently Sean Ryan's 3.5 million subscribers. It's a big deal for veterans. And if you can, to Fox News and Peter Hegseth, who is the incoming, Secretary of Defense.
At least the nominee for it.
Yeah, good point. I suppose it could happen. But, he's like, you got to get this info to them. This is a big, big deal. And he just has like these rants about like these drones and what the government is doing and all the injustices committed by the government. So take that, right? Like that's on one thing. On the other, you have official releases from the government investigating the act of terror, saying that they found like 2 small manifestos. I don't know if they couldn't have been printed. He blew up his car, but they were on his phone somehow. Those are way different. Those don't mention anything about the 2019 thing in Afghanistan. They don't mention anything about the drones. Instead, the manifestos are like oddly pro-Trump. And by oddly, I mean it says... military time to wake up. We're being led by weak leadership. Military and vets move on D.C. starting now. Militias facilitate and augment this activity. Occupy every major road along federal buildings, campus of federal buildings by the hundreds of thousands. Lock the highways down around with semis right after everybody gets in. Hold until the purge is complete. Different tone. Try peaceful means first, but be prepared to fight the Dems out of the Fed government and by military means if necessary. He continues later. We're a separate one. We're the USA, the best country people to ever exist. Kind of an Alamo art thing there. Right now we're heading towards collapse. Then he's got some generic 1% stuff. The top 1% decided long ago they weren't going to bring everyone else with them. You are cattle to them.
Can you be the best country people to ever exist if you are also heading for collapse? Like right on the edge?
It's an interesting dichotomy that it feels like both politicians on both sides tend to, although, frankly, Trump a lot. Man, he's getting weird now. Again, the thing that he claims that is purported to have been sent to these intelligence community members and talking heads is all about like the government is covering shit up. We can't know about it. It's very bad. I'm doing this to draw attention to the fact that this is happening. The manifesto continues. A lot of us are just sitting around waiting to die. No sunlight, no steps, no fresh air, no hope. Our children are addicted to screens by the age of 2. We are filling our bodies with processed foods. This
guy's speaking to me.
But it's somewhat normal manifesto stuff.
Okay.
But it's way different than the other stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and he has 2 manifestos.
Our population
Maybe he's just trying to see what sticks.
I mean, when I made my notes, I was saying, like, it feels like this guy's doing, pardon the interruption.
Now I'm onto this.
He's like, drones, ding. And they're like, processed foods, seed oils, ding.
Yeah.
He said, our population is too fat to join the military, yet we are facing a war with China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran before 2030.
Oh, really? Damn.
This was not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call. Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence. What better way to get my point across than a stunt with fireworks and explosives?
So that's what he's doing.
That's what he said.
He's trying to. Has he looked at like the news? Like this stuff goes away in a couple seconds.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Media literacy on this one, or at least reading the ecosystem a little. It's like America's like, that's super wild. The playoffs start, huh?
Yeah, geez.
Baker got in? Ride with Baker. He considers
Detroit needs the rest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Conclude, and dude, you're going to look up, it's going to be Thursday, college football.
Gosh.
He says, consider this last sunset of 24 and my actions the end of our sickness and a new chapter of health for our people. Rally around Trump, Musk, Kennedy, and ride this wave to the highest hegemony for all Americans. We are second to no one. So, I don't know. People are trying to say that those emails that he sent to that guy, Sam Shoemate, are fake. Sam Shoemate has put it as all out there as I can see for proof, as like, I'm telling you, this is what the guy sent me. I've given it to the FBI. Yeah.
Well, I think Sam is also saying that the guy is still alive.
There is some. I have seen that. I haven't drilled down on it as much, but there's some idea that, like, yeah,
that he thinks that the reason he got a Cybertruck is because, which doesn't make any sense really, but that he could remote control it, drive it there, explode it. But I don't know how that explains whose body is in there.
Yeah,
the video that came
body.
out yesterday of like the body supposedly moving around.
That's the video I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I also saw this one I didn't follow up on at all, but the guy, there's another Las Vegas. It's like in New Mexico.
It's called Las Vegas?
Yeah, because I've seen it on the way back.
How do I not know that?
When you go to Colorado.
I've seen it from on the way back from Colorado, and like we've seen it on the sign before, and it was like, 500 miles. And
do they have gambling and stuff?
I don't even have any idea. But we've definitely looked at each other like, that doesn't seem that we should go.
Yeah.
And it's actually like a 19-hour drive or something. I don't know.
It's a real Las Vegas.
Yeah, but so I saw something that he plugged in the coordinates wrong and ended up there first.
At fake Las Vegas.
And because he did
it's like when Rob went to Hearst to go to my house, even though he's been here a million times.
Las Vegas, New Mexico.
For some reason, my house on Apple Maps is sending people to Hearst.
Because he didn't think the route ahead and he went to the wrong Las Vegas, he had to charge his Cybertruck like 8 times.
That part was hilarious.
Like out in the middle of nowhere. His map is hilarious.
It's a straight shot to New Las Vegas.
And then
had to go over.
I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere trying to charge this thing. Yeah, he's a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another part of it too, Dan, is that they interviewed his family and they're like, yeah, if he wanted to blow that whole building up, he definitely could have.
Mm-hmm.
Like this rigged up explosive that you see in this truck. Like this guy was blowing up buildings by hand on deployments.
Okay, so that does lend to I just wanted to create a spectacle.
Yeah. And they say like he was suffering from depression.
Though, and I believe the right is better at amplifying things.
Better at everything.
Right? Than the soft left. But had that been like an immigrant who is anti-Trump, we would probably have laws passed already.
Well,
never allowing anyone with pigment into the country.
Well, it's interesting because part of it is that no one died in Las Vegas other than potentially the terrorist, if in fact that happened. And in New Orleans, people did die. But I wonder what it would have been like if those numbers were even, because you're not hearing anything. I haven't even really seen this manifesto. I saw it on like Talking Points memo, like a political blog. I'm not seeing this manifesto in the New York Times or on NBC News where he's talking about, hey, we need to take over the government, root out the Dems in a purge. However, I am hearing quite a bit about how this Muslim guy became radicalized in Houston. A lot about that.
But he's not like pro-Democrat or pro-Republican. He's just anti all of it, right?
Who?
The Muslim guy.
Well, what I'm saying is that the media looks at the Muslim thing and they're like, this guy hates America. We know that play.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about that. How did it happen?
Okay, I see.
and they say that he became radicalized, moved to a neighborhood just in like the last 18 months, moved to a neighborhood in Houston that was predominantly Muslim, and even the people in that neighborhood kind of thought like something's weird with this guy. There was a funny note in the New York Times because they actually did cover his motives, where the guy, to my knowledge, didn't leave a manifesto, but he had started a SoundCloud page.
All right.
And rather than just like rapping over old Chance the Rapper beats, he was just posting himself talking on SoundCloud. And in one of the clips, the New York Times notes that one of his like diatribes against society, he's talking about music, and he was really mad about about partying. So the New Orleans thing was that. Like, he was really mad about like the culture of America, drinking and sex. And he specifically mentions, this happened in 2023, that he blames 50 Cent's album Get Rich and Die Tryin' for a string of murders that had happened in his neighborhood, which is entirely possible, but that album came out in fucking 2003. Like, update your software, buddy. There's been a million other albums you could have gone with. Get Rich or Die Trying is still in your crosshairs? It's weird. He's just like, I think the kids are killing themselves over classic albums. But anyways,
that Vivek guy is also upset about the culture I saw.
That's a whole other deal.
I know, it's a funny bit.
It's a great bit. We talked about that a little bit, didn't we?
I don't remember doing it here.
Oh, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Well, it was funny because obviously it's over.
I heard Ethan Strauss talking about it.
Yeah, it's over the H-1B visas, and shocker, the people who run the tech companies who threw all their weight behind Trump and the Republican Party because it could help them advance their agendas with deregulation and embracing things like crypto. It turns out they actually don't care, really, about America as far as American citizens. They care about making money. Whereas a lot of the people who voted for Trump, at least the ones that were really, really, really fired up about it, they care about America, but particularly the Americans who look like them.
Yeah, but then...
And they were promised that.
Then this whole thing, though, is... Because if you complain about immigrants, they're taking our jobs. Like, this is literally... Like, they're taking the jobs of suburban, white, college-educated people.
For the most part, yeah. Then
That's the visa thing, the tech visa thing. That's what they are taking, and that's why it's now in complete contrast with. It just doesn't fit the other. I don't want any immigrants here.
Yeah.
I thought we didn't want any immigrants here. That's cool, right? We're all on board with that. Oh no, wait. We want these immigrants, but that's actually hurting.
Yeah. Well,
the other immigrants, a big argument is it's a lot of jobs people don't want to do or something.
Well, the tech
it's
gazillionaires, they never cared about immigrants or not. They just knew that was something they could say to get people on board.
No, I just think it's a fun.
People who are super MAGA,
either
they
side,
do care.
And I like infighting on either side, really.
That's just of course. I'm just very used to it over here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm typically like, okay, so let's see. This person is old, but can speak. And Bernie, this person is old, but I think is actually dead.
Yeah.
Dude, I ended up flipping on the TV the New Year's Day, I think, that night and seeing Biden up there. Holy hell. Unbelievable.
How could they ever have thought he can run for president? Let alone
no way
keep doing it
he
for
would have
4
lived
years.
for 4 more years in office. No way.
But just like what it takes to run for president is incredible. Like I marvel at Jerry's energy. I marvel at Trump's energy. Because I couldn't do it. Like tonight, I got to get to bed. We're doing like a 3-hour show here today.
I was going to say that.
Like, let alone
I feel you.
Run for president. Do speeches every day for months. Be quick on your feet. Like, that's not something he's not. Like, who around him was like, this is a good idea?
I don't know, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Like, they tried to prop him up and pump him full of whatever he needs, but the other day they clearly had to surprise him, and he was like, oh, where do I go? But, no, the Vivek thing that was funny, he took that as like he's going to take a shot at American culture. hey, you know what? Why don't you get your kid out of flag football and into math club? And,
Which really, that's probably a great message.
Sure, but there is something to
it ain't
like
gonna play.
American people also really value hanging out and community and getting to know one another and spending time together, and not just being about like goal. As much as we get shit for being like the crazy capitalist country, we're not like some of those other countries in that every single thing is about what's the next thing, the goal. And so to illustrate that point, Vivek said something to the effect of, we need to idolize guys like Screech over Zach Morris. And to which somebody replied,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, somebody replied with the image of the scene when it happened, and they're like, yeah, well, Zach got a 15-20 and Zeke got a 13, 15 or 13-60 on his SAT, which Vivek would know if he weren't a fucking casual. Which I actually did, yeah, remember. That was a big storyline. And it's going to be cold here.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? It's cold now.
I don't know that I'm going to pre-do this right now. I'm not going to do it right now. But I'm going to pre-say that if there's anyone listening that has the ability to let me rent, say, a barn or a warehouse or some sort of space that is large enough for a bounce house on Saturday, I will pay you whatever it's worth.
What do we got Saturday?
Nora's birthday.
What about isn't there like a bounce house place?
There's like the trampoline park.
The jump zone or something?
She's just not a fan. We were going to do it at a park, but it's risky. You got a January birthday, you're rolling the dice. But once she got her head set on, like, I want to do the bounce house at this park that we go to in Grapevine. And, a week ago it was going to be 50-something. And now we're dangerously close to having to make other plans. Like, I think you can do a kid birthday party at 50 degrees. I think that's fine.
Yeah, but it's going to be 30.
Well,
high of 44
right now. Yeah,
you can't do that.
What if you just
right now high of 49 on Saturday.
Instead, just give her first ever iPad in the morning, and then just leave her, and then you never have to do anything all day.
No, I got enough iPad and phone guilt. It does make it feel a little bit better whenever you play it with them.
Yeah,
like she's got learning games, and I help her with the learning games.
Yeah, she can learn chess. Like I did that BS with my kids. They're going to learn chess. And you know how long they did that? Like, whatever, went till they were like 6, and then they're like, yeah.
Look, at the end of the day...
Then they discovered YouTube. It's like, whoa.
The sooner... This is what Vivek needs to realize. The sooner as a regular schmegular guy you realize you have mid-kids, the better. Because then you're not throwing away a bunch of money on this or that. Like, oh, my kid's going to get a lacrosse scholarship. Probably not. You got a mid-kid. The distribution just works to where it's likely your kid is mid. Just be happy with your mid-kid.
Yeah. You don't want them to be too hot.
Yeah.
You don't want them you want them to be mid everywhere.
Sure.
Because that's what everybody is.
You want the Dak Prescott of
The
kids.
Dak Prescott of kids.
No, I don't.
The Cooper Rush of kids.
But seriously, hit me up if you have a place I can put this bounce house. I'll pay you. That's the news.
Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
How about whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, are you okay?
We're going to do a little viewer mail birthdays and a little today in history. Brought to you today by...
Oh, no.
That seems aggressive right there. It's a car accident. Frankel and Frankel. They are personal injury attorneys, and they will fight for you. They will fight that evil insurance company. They will fight. If you have suffered something that you kind of deserve something for, Frankels are your call to make.
Yes, they used to. They have attorneys that used to defend the insurance companies, so they know the playbook and they know how to get you what you deserve, what is yours. You say that's aggressive. I say that sound you heard there. That's right when you need the Frankels. You don't need the Frankels for somebody cutting you off. When you're in, when you're in dire need for. Play it again. To take care of your injuries and the compensation you're owed, then you need to call 214-817-333-3333 on a phone, which makes that sound.
Yep.
Those are all threes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes that sound when you dial it. They're based in Dallas. Do you have like the theme of Dallas or anything?
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, the Frankels.
I'm out of stuff.
Yep.
And couple of quick birthdays over the weekend. Greetings, Squirts Führer. Monday is the birthday of my best pal, Patton Gleason. It would make his day in a totally no-homo way if you wish him a happy birthday live to tape. His leaders are Sarah's, Julie's, Jasmine's, and Odaby McDowell's Synced Cycles.
Wow.
From Matthew McGarrity.
You said it's birthdays, right?
Yeah.
I forgot to put this in Dropbox, but I think I have a new sounder for us. This is topical, given what we were just talking about.
Just for birthdays?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Whoa.
Happy birthday.
What is this?
Happy birthday
assume Biden.
to you.
Oh, my God. That's Biden?
Yeah, I don't know when it happened, but I saw it yesterday. I think it just happened.
He doesn't really have any inflection in his
No.
voice.
And, like, the kid looks
He doesn't know the song?
He doesn't know the song, and I mean, yeah, he's wrecked before he gets to, do I remember this Indian kid's name? And then he just...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You're supposed to then go up a...
Happy birthday to you. All right.
All right.
Hey, corn pop. Greetings, Tamale Dan. It is my Adolis Garcia birthday. My leaders are Dan asking random cab drivers where he can get some pussy around here, and the It's Just Banter / Jonah Carey Austin Party bus adventure of 2015. I have an anchor word for Blake.
Okay.
Botanical.
Good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. What? I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Because root word botany means plant, but is it just calling it like the Gardanical Gardens?
There's not a botanical anything else?
How could there be?
Here's a botanical...
well...
Look, it's a botanical shirt that I'm wearing today because it has a flower on it.
I like that.
All right.
Anyway.
That's going to go between bolster the bullpen and brandish a firearm.
Bolster shouldn't be on there.
Then I'll take it off.
Thank you.
Even though you made this list.
Let's see.
We grow. We make mistakes.
This is from Dan in Austin. Dan in
the
Austin.
Great Dan in Austin.
The Dumb Zone
What if he's the bad Dan in
presents
Austin?
He's not.
Today
Are you sure?
in
Yep, I can read it. I heard it in his voice in the email.
So it's Monday, January 6th, if you celebrate. Happy Jan 6th. You remember that, Stu?
Oh, yeah.
Where were you?
Were you there?
I was there, yeah, on the steps.
I wonder if Jen has posted today. Probably, right?
Probably.
I would guess. Yeah. It's an anniversary. On this day in 1994, Nancy Kerrigan, figure skater. What happened to her, Blake? Give you a little quiz. You've heard of this story, correct?
Yeah.
You're 3 years old?
I probably don't remember it live. I don't know. Did she get hurt or something?
That's right. Clubbed on the leg by an assailant. 4 men, including the ex-husband of her rival, Tanya Harding, went to prison for attacking her.
Is that Jeff Gillooly?
Yeah, the whole bit was Tanya Harding, or they were trying to get Tanya Harding ahead of her in the rankings.
And?
Kind of like Steffi Graf, the psycho fan that stabbed Monica Seles one year when Monica Seles was the #1 tennis player in the world. And that actually did work. Steffi Graf
okay,
then
that's
became
the one
the
that
#1
worked.
player.
Okay.
I don't think that Tanya Harding went on to be better than Nancy Kerrigan.
There was a time where I would have considered
sex with Tanya Harding?
Harmful action against Aaron Rodgers to help the Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
Just seemed like it was happening a lot. By the way, your Jenna Ryan update, she tweeted this morning, I just did an interview with the local radio station KRLD. She said, I don't think he was ready for me to tell him about the instigators dressed as Trump supporters on January 6th. Oh, snap.
Ooh. He wasn't ready for that.
Just kind of like the people who we worked with were not ready for her to be in the waiting room.
KRLD, that's not Cumulus? Or is that?
No, it's 1080.
This day in 1998, Barry Switzer resigns as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Unless he re-signed. I can't. One of those two things. He either got a new contract or he didn't.
Did you ever meet him in person?
Yeah.
I just don't know what your Corby Barry ticket.
I've never spent extended time like you have.
But he was like, he came to the station or something?
Something like that, yeah. He's obviously the greatest guy you'll ever meet.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean.
It's like Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
When you meet Michael Irvin. They act like he remembers meeting you and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think he does remember meeting me. But he makes you feel great. Like he's really interested in what you have to say. And I know he's not.
And also, I mean, this applies to Jerry. Not as much Trump because he doesn't really get down like this. But there just are people who are just built different from a party standpoint.
To be able to
I mean, he was telling us
drink.
stories at that age of stuff that he was doing that would have ended my partying career for good at that time. And he was like 75. It was so funny, dude. He just he drove the three of us, me, Fitz, and Corby, up to the gate in front of on game day at the stadium in Oklahoma. He lives about 3 blocks away, basically on campus. And he got in his car and was like, we're going to drive up there. And all the streets are closed. And so he would just pull up to every barricade, and there's some, whatever, 20-something all the way to 60-something person parking attendant. And he's like, hey. And they're like, oh, coach, move the barrier. He pulls forward. That happened 3 or 4 times, and then we were in front of the stadium. He just does whatever he wants.
So I got to thinking there. It's amazing that Jerry hired him, and nobody else, like no one else was about to hire Barry Switzer.
Really? See, I don't know anything about that.
No, he was a disgraced college coach,
recruiting.
But there was nobody was lining up to hire Barry Switzer. It's just that Jerry knew him, got rid of Jimmy. They had a great team. I know this great guy who could lead a great team, so let's hire Barry Switzer. It wasn't like other teams were like he had to outbid someone.
Yeah.
How many coaches have Jerry hired that no one else actually would have hired at the time? Jimmy Johnson. At that time, possibly somebody would have eventually, but at the time it was thought of as pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because that just wasn't in vogue, hiring college coaches to coach NFL players. Afterwards, in retrospect, it was like, oh, no, this is really obvious because he knows all the young players. He knows the league, the college game coming in. I don't know that Chan Gailey was a hot commodity. Maybe. Certainly Dave Campo. Nobody was ready to hire Dave Campo. Jason Garrett, I don't think maybe. Certainly by the second contract, nobody was going to hire him if he was free. And McCarthy's a question mark. Probably would have gotten some job at some point. But you wonder if he would now, even with his record. You want to know who's right above Mike McCarthy, or maybe it's one win below in all-time NFL wins?
I think I just heard this. Who is it?
Jeff Fisher.
Oh, wow.
Just if you want to think, like, oh, Mike McCarthy, certainly he'd get another job. I don't know that he would. I just don't know if he gets fired today or just let walk. Does another team hire Mike McCarthy? Let's say the Bears get Ben Johnson. Who's going to hire Mike McCarthy to say, this guy can turn around this franchise?
It's probably not happening.
Wade Phillips. Nobody was hiring Wade Phillips at that time. Good thought, Dan.
I was like, how does he want me to punctuate this?
I'm capping it off. Yeah, Campo. This is the day in 2018 after a book came out that said people were questioning his competence, President Donald Trump started tweeting.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the one where he said he's a very stable genius.
Oh.
You're about to get all that back.
A classic.
Well, you're not about... See, he's still tweeting all the time. You're just about to now know about every time because, like, the mainstream media will then report on it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. He also does, like, he does truth a lot.
Truth Social?
Yeah, what he does more, his Twitter is just hilarious now. Like, it'll just be, like I said.
It's so out there.
I mean, look at this one from Christmas Day. He just posts gifs.
Man, are we about to be in the Trump learns about AI and what it can do era?
Oh, my God. You okay over there?
And a couple of famous weddings on this date. In 1759, George Washington married Martha. And in 1945, George Bush married Barbara.
Barbara Bush.
Birthdays today, Charles Haley, 61.
Good friend.
Marquise Bell, 26.
Safety.
Florida A&M.
Noah Brown, 29.
Force.
Doug Free, 41.
You know what's funny is we joke about that Corby drop. Noah Brown had like a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he? Let's see what it was.
Doug Free, 41. Is he the cowboy that lived in a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bath?
I think so.
Would
Yeah.
mow his own yard on the weekend, but made $4 million a year?
Yes.
Was he in the band?
No. Wait. Yes.
A.J. Hawk is 41.
He's just definitely about to make an
there.
interesting point.
In our Hey, He's Alive category, Lou Holtz is 87.
Wow.
I'd like to see where Lou Holtz is right now.
Thank you, Ryan Day. Lou Holtz, man.
That was his last kind of media thing that I recall.
Do you want to listen to some...
The Ryan Day situation.
What do you mean, no?
It's pretty quick.
This one says Lou Holtz on coronavirus. How long is it?
All right.
This is just our Dropbox of the day. Yeah, it's not playing.
I think it ends when we have the election. When you're in a leadership role, Laura, you have to look at things from both points of view.
I don't care about that. This one just says Lou Holtz very confusing. Let's give this a run.
We anticipated. They will get to talk a whole lot more at halftime. I promise.
Well, I don't get. They bring the head cold,
but they're counting down 7, 6, 5.
Okay, I've heard that 1,000 times, but it's still good. Hey, we doing a big comb.
Howie Long, 65.
You're talking about the star of not Backdraft, but another firefighter movie. Anybody?
Indomakong Sue is 38.
I'm pretty sure he was also in Broken Arrow.
Jameis Winston is 31.
Wow.
Firestorm. I'm not going to let you guys just disrespect the film career of Howie Long here. He was in Broken Arrow with Travolta and Christian Slater.
Terrible, that movie.
Dude, I'm sorry. What?
It's one of the... I
You're
just
talking
somehow remember that as standing out as being...
You mean when the guy gets on top of the nuke?
Is this a divorced dad weekend movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why you think Howie Long is like an actor?
It was in 96 was Broken Arrow, 98 was Firestorm. Where he's like a hotshot firefighter.
And your dad's like really into it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gilbert Arenas, 43.
Agent Zero.
Gun.
Yeah.
Gabrielle Reese, 55. She's a volleyball hot. Kate McKinnon is 41.
Yeah, I don't know.
Funny? No?
Is she in love with ladies?
Let's go funny or no.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty quick, Ryan.
No.
No. Next one. Funny or no. Rowan Atkinson, 70.
Absolutely not. Stu, you a bean guy?
No.
Okay.
No one's a bean guy.
Oh.
I mean, I
Big
guess
guys are
somebody
like
is.
CrossFit guys. Like, you're going to know. Vegan.
All right, got a few to end for you, Jake.
Okay.
Eric Trump, 41.
Wow. He feels like the most
Funny.
fail Sonny, you know?
Doesn't really have the Riz.
No.
Wants to.
I was telling TC about this the other day, recounting a story from the Hab. There was a guy that I was cool with from West Texas. Good dude. Very conservative. But also kind of just like a all politicians suck guy. A big hunter. And we were talking one time, and he was like, man, I don't know, Don Jr., he's just a regular guy, you know? He's like, he hunts, he fishes, you know, he's an outdoorsman. He's like, he does all the same cool shit I like to do. I'm like, did your dad, like, give you billions of dollars? Did you ever think he's not really just a regular guy? And then it was time for me to pee in a cup, so I let that conversation.
Do they test you every day?
No. But I suspect they would if they thought you had something going on, which I don't know how you could.
Do they test you now?
No, but I do it.
You voluntarily, like, just to show the wife or something? Hey,
Yeah,
look.
for now.
Don't kick me out yet. Is that why you're like, Carter, aim the cup. Aim in the cup.
Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but your husband is aging backward.
Testosterone levels are very low.
People have actually absolutely
kid.
used their kids' pee
I don't know how all that works.
to pass drug tests.
Like, to be honest,
I mean, put it in a Whizzinator.
Well, right, but does it need to be your kids, or does it just need to be clean piss? Like, why wouldn't you
No.
just get an adult? that
No,
you're
you could
friends
just
with?
get an adult, but yeah. Like, if you are a guy who needs to get your kid to pee in a cup for you, you might not have a lot of clean friends.
That's a good point.
You know?
That's a good point.
Finally, Hilaria Baldwin is 40.
Oh, my God. Big weekend for her. What do you know about her?
It's Alec Baldwin's lady. Right?
Yeah, but she's from Boston.
I remember there's Kempspin is written next to her.
Yeah, so she is of English, French, Canadian, German, Irish, and Slovak descent. But sometime around 20, she started speaking with a Spanish accent. And I want to say it was... She started saying she was from Mallorca, which is an island, near Spain, instead of Boston. She has publicly misidentified herself as Mallorcan, Spanish, Latina, and I think she had like a distant relative who lived in Mallorca and maybe she visited once. But she'll go on shows, like cooking shows, and forget English. I've seen her do it a couple times now. One of them came out over the weekend. And she's cooking, and she's like, and then you use how do you say in English, the ceballo? They're like, onion?
But so
it's complete bullshit. But, like the big man, everybody says, hey, that's not right. You can't do that. That's weird. You're wrong. And she's like, no sé. No entiendo. Like, listen to this.
I learned this from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, it's not. It's because I didn't
I
download
learned
it.
this from when I was a kid. And he learned.
Oh, well, you can hear it. That woman's from Boston. She's lived in Boston and New York and L.A. How you say?
Born on this day, now dead, John DeLorean and John Singleton.
Legend.
Dead on this day, still dead, Louis Braille, who invented Braille. And until Josh starts reading Braille books, I will say he has not read a book.
So mean.
My college daughter finished listening to Misery like last weekend. She's like, yeah, I read Misery. Do I give her that?
Yeah, I think you have to.
No.
Like, isn't part of the processing, like, looking at it, and then it goes through your brain, and then a picture is formed in your brain? Is it okay to just listen?
No,
I you got to give Josh a pass. It's not his. He's not choosing that. Of course, he could choose to work a little harder and do some Braille.
To me, reading is an active thing, where listening is more passive. So, no, there's a lot more effort into reading.
Like if you can drive and do it, that doesn't mean you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you just space out?
Do you guys have a problem with everyone using the same water fountain too?
I only to enjoy.
It's real audiobook listener behavior.
What's my favorite album? The Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I just last night I read all the lyrics.
Really?
It was great.
Here's the thing. None of this is going to matter. You're going to be longing for the days when she would listen to the actual text of a book again, rather than blinking. All of the text is run through ChatGPT or whatever the 2040 equivalent of that is. That information is simply implanted in her brain, her neural link, and then seconds later she can talk to you like she read the book. And no, she can talk to you like she wrote the book.
Is a 3-hour podcast too long to read for you? Like, should it be shorter?
Why is Blake trying to hurry us along?
I feel like that's a shot at the link there.
We've been gone a long time.
That was Today in History.
He did that so to press you into keeping your closing remarks
Blake,
brief, which I think is BS.
I've only got 30 minutes or so it won't be too bad. 30 to 45.
29 now.
Yes, it is time for closing remarks with our sit-in Stu and Ryan, who now claim to be brothers. We didn't know that when this whole thing started.
Yeah, definitely brothers. Ryan paid for it, so if he's got any thoughts to kick us off.
Does he have a mic back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to ask Jake what your crossover time was with Grego, if any.
I was an intern in late 2003 through early 2005. So we had 14 to 16 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The greatest drop that never was a drop was when I was listening to the Hardline in the afternoon, and Grego mentioned going to Albernays, and it was so good. His comment was it was so good it made Bob's steak taste like dog food. And then, like right after the break, it was the very sincere apology.
Oh, really? Man.
That's fantastic.
I've never known about that.
I never heard about it again. I always thought
Yeah, no, you won't. That's fantastic. That's very much like Pizza Hut with the sports princess or whatever. They pay that bitch.
Wow. That's great.
That is great.
The only other thing I just want to mention, I am from Blakeland in the land of Wiley.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to spend like $10 in tolls here and there. You do that every time you come here, so
yep.
You're really committed.
Thank you for knowing that.
That's all I got.
Nice. I just got I got 3 things. One, Jake, your obsession with Jake from State Farm is interesting to me.
Yes.
And I was just curious about maybe because it's Jake from State Farm.
I hear it a lot.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It seems like it had gone away for a little while, but rehab again was it was constant.
Yeah.
And I learned, I think, just reading the room here a little bit, a lot of black people only know that name as Jake from State Farm. They don't know it's a common white name necessarily. And there's a lot of Jake from State Farm commercials on NBA games.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
Big
so
NBA
like all the
vibe.
women who would watch, 30-something black lady would be like, "Hey, Jake, like State Farm." And it was just brought back up to me that we had a white one, but then we went woke.
Nice. I worked at an ad agency in Dallas for 16 years.
Which one?
It's called The Marketing Arm.
Okay.
And it's an Omnicom agency. It's responsible for the transition from white Jake to black Jake.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I was there as it happened. I also met my wife at the agency. She was in the room, made the pitch to shift the State Farm client from white Jake to black Jake.
Patient zero.
Yeah.
She made
she was in the room. I gave a picture to Rob of that's my wife handing khakis from the white Jake to the belt. This is the actual the
Look at
moments, the transitional moments. My wife was there as a creative director helping the shoot.
Incredible.
Yeah, and look, White Jake slimmed down. He kind of
Yeah,
got
look, he looks great.
He looked pretty good as the transition.
He
happened.
felt the footsteps.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. But no, my wife spent a lot of time on Zoom calls and
is so
still
good.
does
That's depressing.
with Jake from State Farm.
To
That
lose all that weight and look that good and still not
And
get
then
And they make him
passed
hand
on.
him the khakis too. That's like Campo being at the press conference.
Yeah.
Where they fired him.
Anyways, your obsession with that's always funny, and it was a Dallas thing. Like it happened.
That's incredible.
It happened here in town. That shift.
Wow.
I remember talking to our chief strategy officer at the time, hearing about this from my wife, and saying like, I don't think we can do this. Like,
It's weird.
I felt really. I didn't touch that business, so I didn't have anything to do with it. But it felt awfully strange. The second thing is Mavrello. I'm convinced that the Mavericks will never be good again. We won't get back to a championship unless we expunge Mavrello.
Well, they're in the finals last year. Remember that?
I do remember that, but we didn't win the finals.
No.
He's right.
And so I think Mavrello has something to do with it. Mavrello's Twitter is still up. Like there's still echoes of Mavrello out there. Whenever Mavrello first started, I immediately got online. I was listening to you guys, and like your hate just fueled me even more. So I immediately started an online character, and I was like, who would be the nemesis of Mavrello? So in the style of Mavrello, I had a friend design Pants DJ. So Pants DJ was this little character that popped up on social media making comments all over Mavrello's post or whatever it was. So
I can see you've been inactive here for a while.
Yeah. I get
Right.
well. There's a story behind that. So within 2 hours of posting this, creating it, posting it, starting to like comment on all of Mavrello's posts, I get a phone call. I was working at that agency from like our number 2 guy at the agency, and he's like, Stu, this is weird, but I got a call from the Mavericks. And so the Mavericks saw it, and because I followed it, and probably my brother and other friends, they realized that I created it. And so he was just like, listen, I can't tell you to like take it down, but like you don't want to be in the business of pissing off Mark Cuban living in Dallas.
So
and I was
Mark
like,
Cuban is like, who's doing this? I need to know now.
Supposedly.
Well,
So,
because I will
Wow.
tell you, from what little I know, that's a Cuban venture.
I mean,
It came
without
out,
you even saying that.
Yeah,
I would
like
have
it
guessed
was
that.
just some weird what was it called? It was like not Mavs Labs or something. There was some weird,
offshoot thing.
Yeah,
whatever,
that was like, oh, this is the Mavs creative thing that's like separate,
Yeah.
which basically just means not machine.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, all of
Tune
it.
into today's round ball talk too, by the way, if you want to hear.
Ooh.
Is it okay for us to now go in on Mavrello? What changed? I don't know.
Yeah, I think now feels like the time to totally get rid and just delete all occurrences of Mavrello. And I think that we'll get back to the championship and win this time if that happens. Just a theory.
He's on a heater.
Yeah.
The third and final thing we can do our gifts are pretty quick. We haven't mentioned this yet. My brother and I are both Aggies. Really sorry about that. I'm sorry to.
They just don't present
I
that
know,
way,
it's
do
really-
they?
we're
Look
trying
over
not
there.
to.
See that on the shelf?
I do. Yeah, I was hyped about that.
I got an
bring
Aggie jar.
I didn't bring my jar. I know. I
Yeah.
should have brought it with me.
Well, no, we actually
to show
it's something we have all our guests that
Yeah,
come
contribute,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll contribute later.
Yeah.
Just got to get it worked up. So I have an
That's
active.
why we had the Wonder Woman poster.
There we go. I was looking for that.
Or Superman.
I know you guys don't care about this, but I have a campaign to change the mascot of Texas A&M. The mascot originally was a mutt, and it's been a rough collie for years and years. Really Reveille the dog. So if you go to makerevamutagain.com, you can sign a petition. You can buy some merch. So this is my shameless plug to make Reveille a mutt once again.
I'll do that. I like to support things that'll never really happen.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
This will never happen. I've sold one T-shirt to some one person who supports me. I don't think my brother's bought a shirt, which is cool. That's fine. Giving him some shirts and hats.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all.
But yeah, there's some kind of background information there, a little bit of a history lesson for all the Aggies listening.
3 reasons
Here we
why
go.
Rev should be a mutt again.
Okay,
Number
go
1,
ahead.
Mutts win natties. In 1939, Texas A&M won a national championship when
Asterisk.
Reveille was a black and white mutt.
Okay.
Number 2, incest isn't best. 3 out of 8 of the full-bred Revs, 5, 6, and 7, have had neurological or health problems that sent them into early retirement.
It's true. It's a fact.
Number 3, Rev isn't from Texas. The last 4 Revs have been from Florida, Kansas, and Ohio, and the current Rev is also from Kansas. Rev isn't even from Texas?
That's ridiculous.
It's insane. It's absolutely
Makes good
madness.
points.
So I've got an entire plan baked out.
This website is so awesome.
Yeah,
Look at
that's a
the
Squarespace
Photoshops
creation. Yeah. Anyways, I thought the Aggies listening would enjoy that. You don't have to buy a shirt, but please sign the petition. That would make me happy.
Wow, you delivered.
Yeah, and then finally we just got some gifts. We're going to have you guys out, I hope, to the Rivian grand opening over off Knox Streets.
Now, what is that?
So Rivian is an electric vehicle company. We have spaces or showrooms across the country, so we're opening up. We have only one in Austin right now, the flagship location down in Austin, and this will be our second one in Texas. So it'll be a place to check out the vehicles, do test drives, all that stuff.
They're sick.
Yeah, big fan.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yep.
But Ryan, if you want to, oh, there we go, nice. Just got a few shirts for you guys to wear. You can pass that over to Dan, and then we got 2 more. There we go. Dan, I got you a black one. I thought you might like the black shirts.
I wonder if I can go through this year without wearing something that I've ever worn before. Because, like, I have this, at least at every show.
Every
I don't think
video
you can
show?
do that at all, no.
Well, because we have a lot of shirts people have given me over the time.
I know, but then you'll have to think about it in the morning, though.
Yeah, I
You
do like
that.
not thinking. I like just
oh,
going
this
with
is
the
sweet.
black
This is a
shirt.
cool shirt. I like it.
So those are Austin specific shirts.
I like it. Yeah.
But if you guys need some gear to wear
Nice
to the
Excellent.
remote.
I'll wear it that day.
I will actually wear this because it's black.
Yeah.
And it's very understated. I like a nice understated front of the shirt.
For sure. No, but that's it. Thank you guys so much for having us. Thanks to Ryan and my wife. And,
well, happy birthday.
Happy
a
birthday
month
a month ago.
Yeah.
And you
And
know
to
what?
TC.
I genuinely mean it. This has been fun.
I was just waiting for a second from Blake.
Adios, mofo.
Gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight.